Eskel. See ya.
Yes? Yes? Yes?
Geralt?
Found something that might belong to you. That skull some sort of accessory? If so, you've changed your style a bit.
It's a weapon.
Don't remember ever seeing you with that?
It's as you said. I've changed my style.
So, feel any different after our encounter with the Djinn?
Yes. Now I feel... regret.
Mean to say that...
That I regret we didn't try that earlier. Much earlier.
Think we would have argued less?
Quite the opposite. But the other moments would have been more intense as well. Moments like this.
Thanks, Jan. See you later.
There we go. Hello, Loner. Hello, Corrales. Hello, Leander. Hello, Lycon. Hello, Huthor. Hello, Upon a Time. I hate to quibble, but you're actually the 5th on my screen, Huthor. Sorry. So, let's close this really quick. It's okay. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Or maybe I do. So let's see what Emhyr has to say. This is. Let's get the bad ones out of the way first, shall we? We're going to talk to Emhyr and Dijkstra first. Good morning, yeah. What are they doing? You know what? I don't know. And I don't think I care. So I'm sure Emhyr will be positively disposed to this idea.
Your Imperial Majesty.
Witcher, why have you come?
I've managed to find out where Ciri is.
Finally. I'd begun to doubt the wisdom of enlisting you. Bring her here at once.
The Wild Hunt's pursuing her. Kaer Morhen's the only place she'll be safe.
That was not a suggestion. I can defend my own daughter.
I don't doubt it. Against conventional foes, the Wild Hunt's different. Facing it here would put Vesemir at risk. Hundreds of innocents could die. Kaer Morhen is in a wilderness, and your army stands to be far more helpful there.
Agreed. I shall send a banner with you. On one condition. General Voris will lead it.
Can't agree to that.
And I cannot agree to witches commanding my troops.
Well, I'm not about to give in. You don't look it either. Sorry to take up your time, Your Majesty.
Bring me Ciri.
I will, if that's what she wants.
Funny, I was kind of hoping the exact opposite, Uthor. What I find interesting about that is he was still relatively reasonable there. The only thing that was a sticking point for him was not allowing us to command his troops, which is actually pretty reasonable when you think about it. Obviously, it's not as reasonable as it could be, but, you know. Baby steps. Where the hell is Dijkstra? Oh, whatever, let's just go here and see what happens. Good morning, Bragman, Colgrim, Retu, Black Vial, Hazardous, Nothrisem, Loke the Night Reaper. Oh, I haven't heard anything yet, Uthor. And I don't like to talk about spoilers on an unrelated stream. So I wouldn't worry too much. Yeah, that one. So that's going to be here.
It's gone, so I'm afraid to see the surgeon. Never know when they'll accuse him of witchcraft.
Nah, I don't need tissues for today. By the way, one of the things I do to wake up is I do a bunch of push-ups right after I wake up. Get the blood flowing, you know? I hear jumping jacks work too. And I gotta be honest, it doesn't always work. Sometimes I'm just like, well, now I'm even more tired. Where the hell am I?
Interrogated him. Put out his eyes. Yeah, that's what he said. Were he innocent, they would not have interrogated him. I don't wish to see you talking to riffraff anymore. Ah!
As they say,
Are you a wizard?
Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Why are we missing our swords? And our crossbow. What the hell? So let's hear Dijkstra say no.
Got a minute?
I do. What do you want?
Wasn't sure I should even ask you. Still not. But what the hell? I could honestly use some help.
Oh, my help. Very interesting. Do tell.
Wild Hunt's gonna attack Kaer soon. It's a sure thing. Looking for people, resources, anything that'll help me repel them.
The Wild Hunt? Don't tell me you believe that nonsense.
Hardly nonsense. Got a taste of it. A painful taste. On my own skin.
Sorry, Geralt, but I've my own pile of problems just now. I've not recovered my lost property. Your help, you might remember, left much to be desired. So I don't owe you shit.
Fair enough. You know, I don't think I've ever gotten his help. What does he send if he does end up helping you? I'm actually quite curious. No, it's just a consequence of me not helping him.
It's a waste of words.
Or to be slightly more accurate, it's a consequence of me not allowing Triss to be tortured. He just gives you money. That's actually funny. Alright, I'll give you money. No, I need help. That's right, here's some money. See you around Nothrazone.
you from?
Hi, Nerazos. Don't purr at me. God, I hate that.
I'll give you a discount for heroic deeds.
Where is he?
Well, you know.
Oh, he's inside a person. Zoltan!
Zoltan,
Geralt.
I know where Ciri is.
Why are we here? Let's go get the lassie.
I'll do that, but I have another job for you. You need to set out for Kaer Morhen. That's where I'll take Ciri. The Wild Hunt will attack soon afterwards. Could use you at our side.
You'll have me and my axe.
Thanks. See you at Kaer Morhen. Vesemir, Eskel, and Lambert are already there.
I think everyone likes Zoltan. He's no Varric, but, you know, he's still pretty awesome. And of course, I love how there's no discussion. There's no debate. There's no, here's what you'll owe me, or this is what it'll cost, or I'll only do this if you did such and such a quest in such and such a way. No, Zoltan's just like, alright, I'll be there. Just... Love that. Well, Loke the Night Reaper, I'm pretty sure it's self-evident, so let me just ask you a question. What do you think that means?
It's true you killed kings. You and our commander.
We'll pay for the freaks and now. This is all over. You've been here,
I
you've
aim
been
to
there.
open a whorehouse in Vesemir.
Probably the
Geralt of Rivia, safe and sound.
So, I want to say something about this, but we'll wait until he's done.
Could use your help at Kaer Morhen. Aim to take Ciri there. Wild Hunt's bound to appear soon after.
You didn't turn your back on me when I was in need. It's only fair I do the same.
Thanks. Venture to say your skills might prove invaluable.
I'll consider whether to bring Ves. Either way, I'll see you at Kaer Morhen.
Just bam. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure that's a consequence of the fact that I did a quest for him. You know, the side quest for him earlier. But still, I love how the contrast between Dijkstra and Roach. Don't mistake me, Dijkstra is arguably smarter and more connected and better long-term thinker and has a lot of points above Roach. But Roach is the one who says, yeah, no, I'll come help you. And Dijkstra's the one like, nah, I don't owe you anything. I just love the variance in mentality there. So let's do... Yes, Taito. Where do I get Letho? Because I don't have a quest for that. And ditto for Kira. I did the quest for Letho, yes. And I did send him to Kaer Morhen. And I did the quest for Kira. And I sent her to Kaer Morhen. So I suppose those are both just going to show up. If that's true, then we're good there. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so never mind then. Ignore me. I'm dumb.
Me little Lorgan's birthday tomorrow. I've no clue what to get about.
It's true what they say.
Did you sever his hair?
Can you toss an axe? Me brother can.
No, I can't toss an axe.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
This is a terrible group.
Yeah, you'd think Letho, like, in lore would be a tremendous boon, right? Yeah, but who needs money, Vigilant? And thank you very, very much for the money, Vigilant. As always, much appreciate that. But to get back to my point, I don't think money really helps in this situation. I'm sorry, that's a dumb joke. I apologize. What am I doing? Where am I?
Adventure seeker.
Stay out of trouble.
There's Croc.
Wanted to talk. This isn't easy, but I need to ask you a favor. A big one.
Tell me, friend.
Ciri. I know where she is. but I also know that as soon as I reach her, the Wild Hunt will know I did. They'll come after us, attack, and we'll need to respond with strength. Can I count on you?
The Black Ones first, now Wraiths. Such is life. Bring her here, and we'll face them in battle.
What's this about the Nilfgaardians?
Of late, look seaward and you'll see their sun on a sail, staring right back. We've yet to capture any of their crew, but only a fool wouldn't know they're planning something. But fear not, we'll banish the Black Ones and the Wild Hunt. 2 birds with 1 skeleton axe. Ciri will be safe in Kaer.
I mean, at bare minimum, 6 weeks, Taito. Like, we know it takes a week to go from the Novigrad area up to Kaer Morhen. So that's a week trip by itself. One way.
Can't risk your men's lives. Kaer Morhen, we fight them there, nowhere else.
Kaer Morhen is hundreds of miles away. To move an army there would take weeks. Not to mention, I'd expose the Isles to Nilfgaard's blows. Geralt, forgive me, but I cannot do it.
I understand. Won't take up any more of your time. Farewell.
Wait. Won't let you leave empty-handed. I'll help as I can. Come with me.
Beautiful craftsmanship. Got a talented smith.
Not I. King Erland Uncrate did.
Erland Stonefist? So this is Winter's blade. Thought it was a legend.
Forged in Mahakam, tempered in dragon fire. Been in the Uncrate family for centuries. And now, it's yours.
I can't take this.
You can. You must. Let me do this much at least.
If you insist. Thank you.
May it serve you well. Send those specters back where they came from.
That's my intention. Farewell.
I mean, it's worse than what I got, but in honor of that, I think we'll go ahead and equip that for a while. I mean, as if stats matter, right? Oh yeah, by the way, Huthor, I saw your list on what it would take to D-level, and that feels entirely too risky to me. Like, way too risky for what I'm going for. I don't care that much. Thank you for linking it, though.
There's truth to that blab.
Crit, and there's a gallant fella.
Grandos.
Your Royal Majesty. Would you spare a moment?
Come home, Geralt. I'm the same lass I was, save for the title. A lot of things changed.
Yeah, but it won't de-level you, Sonoshi.
Got a delicate matter I wanted to bring up. Need your help.
What is it?
Crocs mentioned Ciri to you? He must have.
Have you found her?
Not yet, but I'm close. Problem is, as soon as I get to her, the Wild Hunt will probably be able to locate us, quickly. So I'll want to take her to Kaer Morhen, battle the hunt there. I'm looking for allies.
I can't leave the Isles now. It's impossible. What I can do is give you my best warrior, Hjalmar.
Think you'll be willing?
I'm sure of it. In fact, I think I'll be overjoyed. Come on, you know him.
Yeah, guess I do. Thanks.
No doubt he'll be valiant. I hope he proves useful too. Good luck.
To be weaker, Sonoshi.
The favor Lady Brand did for our son, sure.
Ah, Geralt. How are things?
The Wild Hunt's preparing to attack Kaer Morhen. Could use your help.
Rates at the gate of your Witcher's stronghold. You're a friend of the clan. I cannot refuse you. What's more, no one Crate's ever stood in battle such a foe. I'll leave at once.
Thanks. Won't forget this.
I mean, this is a great section, but I have to admit, this would make a lot more sense if we were literally portaling around with Yennefer.
Heard it was still beaten when he bit it.
Seriously, think about it for a second.
Oh, they did him good. Cut his paunch open.
Hjalmar. Leave at once. We've got a portal ready for you when you're... I just need to pack my things. You know. It's such a minor point, but as Taitu and other people have pointed out, this is weeks what we're going through right now. Weeks. At a minimum. This is probably more closer to months. Because Geralt moves quite fast and knows exactly where he's going. Most of these people travel independently to get there. I mean, come on, Yennefer. I know that Avallac'h is blah, 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 but for Christ's sakes. There we go. We're good. I mean, at least in Mass Effect, that kind of concept makes sense, since everyone has ships, FTL, and relays, right?
I take a close look at that shaman Hjort. They say he poisons the Jarl. The very reason Udalric's slowly losing his mind.
Can we talk?
And suddenly we're outside.
The Wild Hunt will attack Kaer Morhen soon. Gonna need your help.
A wild hunt? Are you certain?
Oh, yeah.
So, you found Ciri?
I know where she is. And the Wild Hunt will also learn that as soon as I find her.
I see. I shall pack immediately. Leave tomorrow at the latest.
Thank you.
No need. I raised the girl, and I've still a duty to her. I shall see you at Kaer Morhen.
Yennefer has a portal ready for you. I mean, yeah, hand wave, but whatever. Okay, so that's everyone. Everyone we can connect to, anyways. What I find most interesting about that sequence, and I do appreciate this, although I don't know what to make of it, is everything I just did is optional. You don't have to talk to any of those people. You can just go. What's funny is the only reason I could see someone deliberately wanting that is if they're speedrunning the game. However, you guys know me, and how, supportive I am of speedrunning, so that makes sense to me. Oh, come on, do I need a boat? I was just going to leave this on until we beat the vanilla, honestly hazardous. Fine. Wait, hang on. Where does it want me to go? Let's just do this. Right there. So, oh god, there's no fast travel down there. Let's do this. This should speed it up a bit. Well, that would just be more aggravating, Corrales, because not only does that make, even less sense that we're not using Yennefer, but then that's just, I don't know, game timers have to be a very carefully implemented concept, in my opinion. I'll be in a boat. I'm just going to get a boat that's closer. A little efficiency. Whoop. Not that boat. I don't need that boat. Exactly, Huthor. Who cares if we take 6 weeks to do something? At the low end. Continuity be damned! I actually don't understand how this can't bother you, Huthor. I mean, I know we think really differently about things, but come on. Hell, even letters don't go that fast, unless they have some kind of really fast postal service I'm not aware of in setting. See, it bothers me for 2 reasons, if I might go ahead and talk about this for a second. Reason number 1 is the obvious one. It doesn't make sense. There is no reason whatsoever that we should spend literally weeks, if not months, running around getting all these people together, when we could do so in days, when we're in a hurry. I mean, I want you to picture Yennefer, the Yennefer who was determined and blindly focused and willing to perform necromancy and possibly kill herself and possibly kill her daughter. And all that is willing to just sit on her arse for over a month. So that's reason number one, it bothers me. Reason number two, it bothers me, is because we're basically... God damn it. Is because... Just get on the boat! Reason number two, it bothers me, is because this feels like this is against the character points that we just established. We've just spent quite a bit of time, like 3 hours of game time, establishing just how frenetic both Geralt and Yennefer have gotten at this point, and how much they care, and how this is all coming to a head. And then we spend 6 weeks doing nothing. Like, you see how that just kind of takes the wind out of the sails? No pun intended. Well, that's irritating. I'm about to lose my boat here. No, I think I really am. Beep, 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 beep. Yes, but... Never mind, Uther. I give up. I give up. I am legitimately tempted to give this a negative. I really am. Because this is just like a giant nail in the middle of the story for me. Like on the path I'm walking, there's just this nail here, and as soon as I step on it. I think I'm going to add it to an aggregate negative, because this really does bother me. And the more I think about it, the more it bothers me. So we'll add it to the aggregate we already have here. And I added a little point here in my point, which is a lost opportunity. I can nitpick as much as I want, Hazardous. Thank you very much. Because this is also a lost opportunity. We've already played as Ciri. Go ahead, Rotu. Although it's probably the one I've already seen. We've already played as Ciri. Why not let us play as Yennefer for a brief section? In fact, why not let us play as Yennefer and Geralt for this section? Just for a brief thing, you know. Okay, this is not the link that Huthor gave me. This is still fan-made, right? Like all of these are. It's also still not the world. But yeah, like... I don't know. I feel like this could still make for a good Princess Peach section in gameplay, and at the same time help showcase the urgency of the moment, while at the same time giving us more character feedback and dynamic between Yennefer, Geralt, and everyone else. Or with Triss. That's also entirely feasible. Maybe the first person we go to meet is Triss. We go to reach out to her first and say, Triss, I really need a favor. I need you to help me get together a bunch of people and get them to Kaer Morhen. Can you help me on this? This is for Ciri. And I guarantee you Triss would be on board for that. For her sister? Of course she would. So, like I said, this could be a great gameplay section, in addition to being a character-building moment, in addition to making sense, which is always important to me, you know that. Instead, we just map travel around and hand-wave it away. And it's funny you say that, Uthor. Believe it or not, you probably do believe this, travel time is something I think about way too much when it comes to fiction. And I'll admit that. But that's because things like the example you just gave irritate the crap out of me. I mean, that's not a bad example, because it's not that hard to assume that they are within a few days or weeks' travel of something at sublight speed. But let me give you a much worse example. You ever see Star Trek Into Darkness? Where, I mean, God, where do I even start with the travel distances in that one? God. That just... Let's see. It takes hours to get from Earth to Kronos. Hours. And then it takes less than hours to get back. And they get interrupted halfway back and attacked. And that the damage they take manages to make them fall the rest of the way to Earth. Every single thing I just said was wrong. God. I'm not even going to talk about the fact that you can teleport. Use a personal transporter to get from Earth to Kronos. I'm not even going to get into that. That's just another level of stupid. God. Lazy-ass writers. And I know that one's lazy writing because I know the writers who wrote that one. And they are very lazy writers. Christ. Warning, save your game now. You are nearing a crucial point in the game's story. It is recommended you save your game in a manual slot. Yeah, okay, sure.
A long trek required.
Hang on, let's go and get a real save in here.
The Fellowship. Ought to cobble one together.
I mean, admittedly, the Into Darkness thing is one of the worst examples I could think of. But it is an extremely common problem. That's why I call it Doctor Who syndrome. Because most writers simply have no concept or sense of scale. It's one of the biggest reasons why in Star Trek most planets are actually towns. Star Wars does that too. Okay. Yes. Well, obviously everyone has their own things that bother them more than... Hey, my boat got healed. Bothers them more than other things, right? Everyone has some things they can tolerate more, and everyone has some things they can tolerate less. That's human nature, right? But the one thing I could say that most definitively bothers me about the travel time... the scale problem in general, really. Because it applies to time and it applies to distance most strongly. Is that every time it happens, all I hear is a writer not putting thought into it. Like, it immediately jerks me, like whiplashes me out of the narrative. And all I can think of is some writer didn't put the time or effort into actually thinking about it and just smeared a number on the... Do you mind? Just smeared a number on top of it. Like, how many times have you heard someone say, 1,000 years ago, something big happened? And for some stupid reason, it's always 1,000 years. Even when that actually doesn't make sense. Even Final Fantasy VI, my favorite game of all time, is still guilty of this. on. My damage should be higher on the crossbow. Even more damage. That's right, 1,000 years ago something big happened. And it's always 1,000 years. Occasionally they say hundreds. What the... No, go forward. Go... What? Forward. There we go. That was weird. It's holding down W and it's like... Anyways. And I'll admit, I also agree with what Tigzar says. You know, self-consistency is the most important thing for me. I mean, if we're to be completely blunt, the very nature of how space travel works in most fiction doesn't make sense for real life at all. They don't take into account gravity wells. They don't bother to acknowledge the curvatures or arcs or the mobile nature of space or anything, right? Get off the boat. That's an interesting song. Now see, that's an interesting point, Hazardous. And that would have also worked if they'd bothered to bring that up. 2 lines of dialogue would have lent itself to your thought, Hazardous. Imagine if Geralt just kind of has this... It's gonna take me a while to hit everywhere. And then, like, Vesemir pops up.
I stopped at the hut. I'll look inside.
And imagine just Vesemir pops up and says, that'll give us plenty of time to shore ourselves up. That's it. 2 lines of dialogue. Bam. But they didn't add those. This is another... See, this is why this bothers me so much. Because these instances, 99% of the time, when there's a Doctor Who syndrome problem, it's because someone didn't bother to put the effort in. It just comes across as lazy. Or rushed. Anyways, I'm sorry. This is a big one for me if it's not obvious. That's why I'm still ranting on it. It's just okay. I'll try to shut up about it. I will not succeed, but I will try.
Locked. Anybody in there? Damn.
Probably vigilant, but then again, I don't know how mystical this setting is.
I'm not gonna hurt you. Open up.
Oh, you blew our fucking cover. Who are you? What do you want?
I'm Geralt, a witcher.
Go away!
Looking for a young woman. Ashen hair, scar on her face. Will you let me in?
No.
Running short on patience.
Wonderful. Means you're about to go the fuck away. By my mum's beard, get yourselves together, lads. You there, outside the door. Geralt, that right?
Yeah, Geralt.
Listen, Geralt, let's cut to the thick of it. We survived a shipwreck recently. Beasts from the depths ate some of my lads, and the rest of us found shelter here. Not too special, that, as dangers litter this isle, but it does go to explain why we're a wee bit distrustful.
Yes, Talking Jeff. As with all ratings, they all end up on my website eventually.
No way you can get to this isle conventionally.
Crikey, you call a shipwreck conventional? Leave it be, mate. You know what he means.
Let me explain. Short while past, we was en route from Skellige to Novigrad. And Ferenc got talking with the captain, who sold him a magic firefly purported to know the way to a hidden treasure.
Got nothing to fear from me.
Said the fox to the gaggling geese. I've lost too many mates already. I won't risk it. I can't.
All the mods.
Say I find your mates. Will you believe I mean no harm?
Aye, but I'm not counting either coming too easy.
How many are there?
3.
Ivo, Gaspard, and Ferenc.
This Ivo. Where do I look?
Agent insisted he'd explore the caves to the east. Tried to knock it out his head. Literally. Bugger wouldn't budge.
Why, Huthor, if you don't mind my asking?
Gaspard. Where'll I find him?
He said it was defeatist, set and wait to be rescued. We had to take action, or at least he did. Claimed to have spotted a lantern out to sea, so he said he'd climb the highest peak to look out for ships.
Lol, Huthor. That's funny, because for once I figured that my explanation actually made perfect sense, since even in the movies, Nexus points of force exist.
Where'd Ferenc go?
West, in search of a ship that's said to be out there.
Ferenc is, handy. Thought I might fix it up. Need to see what the...
All right. See if I can't find all three. See ya.
I'm content you understand.
I should have just bust the door down. So time to go save the 7 dwarves. No, I didn't have time this morning. I was like 10 minutes late because I didn't have enough time. I don't know if you noticed that. So anyways, I have to admit, one thing that has always struck me off about this sequence is why the 7 dwarves reference here. It just seems like such a strange fit.
Tried to flee the fiend. Stubby legs, too slow. One of the missing dwarves. Shame he's dead.
Yeah, but whatever. I'm not gonna question it. Whatever. It's not negative, it's not positive, it's just a weird thing. By the way, hi Platy, sorry. I was in the middle of a violent disagreement with Huthor. Honestly, I'm just gonna start saying it's blue. Huthor. Now hear me out. There's an actual logic behind this. Let's say we're both looking at a car. We both really like this car, except for the fact that it happens to be blue, and you really hate blue, and I really like blue. Thus, we discuss the matter like reasonable adults, and the end of the discussion is, I hate it because it's blue. I like it because it's blue. And that's really what that boils down to. Now, coffee's different.
A man! Am I ever pleased to see you?
I talked to your friends. Come down.
Right. I'm coming.
I'm mostly using a cheat mod.
Lucky devil, you. You know, I've one regret. That...
And he's dead.
Dead. Damn.
Like, what's the point of that scene? Whatever. So coffee is when there's something I could acknowledge as good that I simply don't like. Blue is when two people agree on every point and disagree on the conclusion. In other words, again, I like it because it's blue, I hate it because it's blue. Yeah, humor? Sure. If you say so.
Hey, wake up.
Shoo. Back to bed, Nibbles.
Wake up.
What's happening? Who are you?
I'm Geralt. You and your friends, what's your story?
Rabbinick and Company. Real estate appraisal, insurance, mass event organization. Gaspard, Sutter. My mates call me Sleepy. I even slept through that storm. It's a shame so many died.
Any chance you've seen an ashen-haired woman around here?
Here? Nay, not a soul. But a lot passes me by on account of my sleeping.
Your friends asked me to find you, Ferenc, and Ivo.
I'm afeard they're dead. Some horror swarmed Ivo, saw it with my own eyes. And Ferenc, I heard him. A blood-curdling cry, then the roar of a beast.
Let's get back to the hut. I'll protect you along the way.
Shame about the lads, really, but what can you do? Come on. But I should warn you, I suffer from narcolepsy, meaning...
I know what it means. Don't worry, I'll keep you awake.
Can't we just carry him? Nah, he's probably pretty dense. And dead weight is the worst kind of weight to lift. Escort quests. Okay, so let me explain my problem here. This whole quest feels not only unnecessary, but actively kind of makes me think, why is this here? I know that sounds like a strange comment. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. The Seven Dwarves is a fairy tale thing, and Witcher tends to do fairy tale things. And Ciri is sleeping white, whatever her name is. Twitface McGee. But this whole quest could have just been removed from existence, and I don't think it would have changed anything. And that's kind of my point. It's just sort of there.
I'll soon...
Wake up.
I don't want to go to school.
Like,
What's about this isle?
Almost nothing.
You know, it ain't on my map.
A common characteristic of enchanted islands.
You think it's enchanted?
It's the one thing I'm sure of.
No, I didn't know that, Hazardous. I never actually answered your question in full, Adam. The mods I'm using... Hang on, I gotta go actually look. Is a knock on the door. I am using all quest objectives on map, which is a godsend mod, and I highly recommend it. Disable storybook videos, which is a godsend mod that I highly recommend. Colored map markers, that's pretty useful. Fast travel from anywhere, which I consider mandatory. God mode, play how you want to. I have a new mod that actually just came out last week called Hairworks LOD, which has made the hair look better. No time for Gwent, which I actually don't need at all. I could turn that off because God mode does that. And of course, my own sprinting DLL thing. And that's what I have. I gotta share something real quick with you. So that was my new monitor to help solve the monitor problem I've been having. There was a second package, and I'm like, what's the second package? And I open it up, and it's got styrofoam, and I'm like, well, that's strange. So I open up the styrofoam, and there are two very large boxes, I should have brought them in here, of Reese's chocolate. My mother's trying to kill me. The funniest thing about this, though, I've never even heard of these. These are Reese's bars. Did you know these existed? Like, they're not... It's not the buttercups, like you see. It's just a candy bar. I didn't know those even existed. It's a box like this big. Anyways. I guess I'll find out later. I'm not taking one now. That would be suicide. I need food to recover from something like that. Guess I want to go this way. Anyways, to finish my earlier point, sorry. It's just, for me, I don't really have anything wrong with this quest. Just the implementation of the quest. It's just out of nowhere, there's this 7 dwarves thing, and for me it's like... well, it's padding. But it's also an unnecessary pit stop. Like, we just had the big, epic cutscene of awesome. Actually, 2 in a row, sorry. 2 big epic cutscenes in a row. Immediately followed by running around and talking to everyone, which, even though the travel part bothers me, is still kind of awesome. And then we go deal with the 7 dwarves. Then we have the best cutscene in the game. It's its place in the story that doesn't really gel with me, especially since this is mandatory. This is main quest. We can't avoid this. So, whatever.
Drifting off. I'll soon
Oh yeah, and just while I'm talking, this is an irritating escort quest.
I don't want to go to school.
This isn't the worst type of escort quest, but it's, I'd say, the second or third worst type. It's the type where they don't go at your speed, they follow you, and every now and again you gotta be like, hey, wake up! I mean, WoW has used this type of escort quest, Fable has used this type of escort quest, FF14 has used an even worse type of escort quest than this, where not only do you have to go be like, hey, you have to do that every 10 feet or so. Like, I enjoy FF14 well enough, but those quests can go to hell. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not being facetious. You literally go about 10 feet, and then you have to gesture, come here, then you go another 10 feet, come here, and then you go another 10 feet, come here, and then you go another 10 feet, come here, and then you go another 10 feet, come here, and you have to do that the whole way there. It's awful.
Looking for someone.
Here?
Mm-hmm. Just kind of turned out that way.
Not too keen on talking about it, are you?
Not really.
Hang on. I'm adding this to the aggregate negative. I'm sorry, guys. I have to be honest about it. I'm not going to hold back on positives. I'm not going to hold it back on negatives. And the more I think about it, the more this bothers me. How I would have done it is fairly self-apparent, I would think. You know, drunk quest. Go back to Kaer Morhen. Breather quests, right? If you're paying attention, see, I'm surprised no one made this argument. One of the arguments I could see in favor of this is that it's a breather, right? To try and establish what's about to come, because we just had Epic, and we're about to have Epic. But we already had breather, right when we got to Kaer Morhen. We had 3 really quick and simple breather quests, just, you know, real little simple little things, establishing Lambert, establishing Eskel, talking to Yennefer, right? So, we already had our breather quests. Then we have the drunk sequence. Then we have the Avalok sequence. Then we have the, you know, the mustering the forces. Gondor calls for aid. All of that's pretty awesome, with the one exception I mentioned. Then we go through the mists. Then we get here, we open the door, and there's Ciri. For me, the narrative beats flow logically and smoothly between those points. That's why this bothers me so much, because from a pure narrative constructive point, this feels completely misstepped to me. It's like someone was like, oh, we should throw the 7 dwarves in there. Okay, and then it was so. Now, that doesn't add any additional negatives, but that does codify that story negative, that aggregate. That's enough to fill up that aggregate, basically. But, in the interest of fairness, I should add a gameplay negative, too. Because I hate this game and everything about it! No, can anyone guess what the gameplay negative is for? Because I bet no one can. Good morning, 1-2 PC. I was staring at your name like Ona Tupik. How do you want that said? God, I can't pronounce it. What do I do? So, negative to gameplay. So, as always, I do need to justify my negatives to you guys. And this is basically a negative for escort quests. There are several escort quests in this game, and almost all of them are irritating. There are precious few exceptions to that. This is just the latest. This is what, the 8th, 9th escort quest we've done? And at best, most of the escort quests are tolerable. There are ways to make escort quests fun or interesting. We've seen this done over the years. Most of the ways of doing that usually involve making the thing you're escorting awesome in some way. But I do feel like they lean a little bit too heavily on the escort button, and I do feel like it's just a derogatory to gameplay in several elements. This is just the latest example of that. Now, if they were really atrocious escort quests, like, say, Fable, this would probably be more than one negative.
Brought you your friend.
Sure. Let's hear him then.
Wake up.
I'm awake.
Gaspard! Stand back! I'm opening the door.
Gaspard! Ha! You seem a bit muddled.
Muddled. A bit drowsy, that's all.
What of the others?
Found one near a monster's den. He was already dead, sadly. Saw another fall from a cliff. Broke his neck.
Shit. Rabenik told me to have an eye on the snot. 'Twas his nephew. Thanks for helping, and sorry I didn't trust you.
Oh, everything's gone wrong. What'll we do now?
Got a boat. You can leave with me, but I need to find someone first.
An ashen-haired lass?
Yes.
Oh, dreadful sorry.
What do you mean?
She's cold. Spirits left her.
Must have passed shortly before we found her.
Let's wait by the boat.
Before we even let this play... Correct, Taitu. Before we even let this play, that right there is the worst feeling in the world. Like, you've been working and struggling, and we, the player, and Geralt, the character, has spent the entire game, from word go, searching for Ciri. That's not true. Searching for Yennefer, and then searching for Ciri. So almost the entire game, everything since the tutorial onwards, searching for Ciri. And obviously he cares about his daughter. I don't think I feel the need to make that point. And to have finally gone all this way and set up all this advanced warning, and he's got the trap ready, and he's got his allies ready, and he goes to find her, and she's dead, or at least he thinks she's dead. I can't... I'm not sure I am physically capable of understanding what that feels like. I don't think Geralt has shown such fear of any monster as he shows of that door. And then the game crashes. What? Well, since we're here, the camera work, and then he dies. The end. Game over. The camera work in that scene is phenomenal. You'll notice how hesitant Geralt is. I kind of made the mention earlier, but I mean it with total sincerity. Geralt has fought vampires and fiends and Leshens and armies and kings, and I don't think he's ever faced anything in the game as terrifying as that door. And the way he just couldn't actually endure, like, staring at the door for a long... You could tell that whole thing was manually crafted when it came to the animation, too, that was motion captured. Because he stares at the door, and then he stands at the door, and then he braces himself at the door. There's like 3 full separate steps of him getting ready to open the door. And even when he finally opens it, he just very slowly opens that thing. And then he sees they're there. And then, of course, they actually show us a great shot of what he sees by actually zooming back out the camera so that we can see him on one end and her on the other. And the camera actually bothers to give us several shots of Ciri's face, which, if you'll notice, Geralt doesn't see it first. We see it before he does. And we see that her eyes are rolled up into her head a little bit, and her eyelids are open. So we can see that there's something clearly wrong with her. She's not just sleeping. Now that's important, because this could have easily lost some of the emotional impact if she was just taking a nap or whatever. But giving us that quick visual insight shows that, no, there is legitimately something wrong with her. And then his reaching over and him pulling her so that she was laying on her back so he could see her face. So he then sees what we have already seen, and he can't deal with that at all. Like, you could tell, wonderful motion capture, by the way. You could tell he has absolutely no idea what to do with himself. And he like immediately stands up, and then there's just this moment of him struggling to stay on his feet as it's just buffeting him, until finally he just collapses right back on the bed, defeated. And then, of course, he just turns to embrace his baby girl as he's just like, and you could just feel the sobbing. And no voice acting is necessary for this bit. wondered, for probably the only time in the entire game, the sound direction was spot on. A very quiet song that has a very slow build, and that all we hear is the creaking otherwise of the thing. Just, oh! So obviously that's a story negative. No, I'm kidding. There's a reason I call that the best scene in the game. It's not just emotionally powerful. It's not just something that has been built up to. It is brilliantly designed, brilliantly directed, brilliantly presented. That's such a huge plus by itself. I for once, I imagine no one will argue with me on one of these points I give out. Now, let's watch it again, because I have no idea where the autosave is. I didn't manually save since, like, I was in the middle of the escort. It was the last time I saved. So let's see where it puts us here. In the middle of the escort. What do you know? It's my save. Well, come on, buddy. Let's go. Oh, that sucks, Brigman. I'm sorry.
Gosh, Pop! What a...
Saw another...
Shit. Thanks for helping.
Oh, got a boat.
An ashen head.
Yes.
We're building up to it, Taitu. We're up to 6 crashes so far.
What do you mean?
She
must have.
Let's...
Okay. Unlikely, Colgrim. Possible. Unlikely. Well, I'm sorry. Since we've already seen this without me commenting, I just want to showcase. So we see 3 clear angles. Him, her, them. Classic 3-point angle perspective. We also see several establishing shots here. Notice how long it takes him to take a step here. Look at that. There's her face. I actually already pointed that out. He doesn't see that yet. He just sees her here. I noticed he's clipping through his collar or whatever. Again, that hesitation. And notice how he only gets the barest glimpse of her. And he... Nope. Look at that. And he can't even stand anymore. Now, one of the other nice things they do here is they show a lot of the animations happening. Like, they showed him reaching on her shoulder and then pulling her over. All of that was captured, is what I mean. There was no animation play, stop, animation play. The whole thing was one smooth animation. But one of the interesting things they do is they don't show us this bit. They just show... They basically cut to the embrace. By using 2 different visual styles, that is to say, all on-screen and some off-screen, we get a better presentation of the events. And then, don't crash. Fingers crossed. Oh, I saw it, Hazardous. God, that's a brilliant scene. I'm sorry for gushing. No, I'm not.
Guess not all of Vesemir's teachings have receded into oblivion.
A witcher can forget to eat, to drink, to breathe even. But a witcher never ever forgets to care for his blade.
Yeah, I used to repeat that incessantly. Never tired of doing it either.
What creature was it?
Huh? Creature?
One that gave you the scar over your left eye. It's new. I don't remember it.
Souvenir from the cockatrice of Spala. Another addition to the collection. Nothing special. Yours has healed beautifully, though.
Avalok. He prepared some special ointments for me. But that was before the curse gripped him. Wonder where he is now.
I also like this. I mean, it's been, I believe you guys said 7 years since these two have really seen each other. 7 important years. 7 mid to late teen years. I agree, by the way, Huthor. And so this scene, which, by the way, is optional, which I am in favor of, as I always am, this scene where we can just catch up and talk more is a great little this is a breather moment right here. This is a moment of exhale. That's actually what this is. This is the release of tension. This is the, oh, thank God. And you know how earlier I mentioned there's no worse feeling in the world than having tried and worked and hard and then, nope. Well, funnily enough, there's not really any better feeling in the world than, oh no, it actually worked out. It's that one I know exactly what that feels like. I know exactly what it feels like to think, oh God, everything's horrible forever. No, actually, it's the best possible outcome. And that is a wonderful feeling. You can just, the relief is just oozing off of Geralt here. It's tangible. So, I obviously gave a plus for the previous scene. I am legitimately tempted to give a separate plus for this scene. Segregate from the previous one. We'll decide here.
We lifted the curse. He's at Kaer Morhen, waiting for you.
Are you serious? You must be. You'd not jest about something like that. A nice thing to wake up to.
You trust him?
Avalok? He's not let me down to date. Not once.
Why exactly is Avalok helping you? Sages have never been fond of humans.
He doesn't do it for me. It's about my power. As if it could ever be about anything else. Avalok tried to teach me how to control my ability. He was also making sure I didn't fall into Eredin's hands.
What's Eredin after? What's he want from you?
What everyone wants. Control of my powers. His homeworld faces annihilation. Eredin's decided to invade ours. Brilliant, wouldn't you say? Can't achieve much on his own, so he needs to bring an army. Except his navigators can't possibly move him and thousands of NL between planes. Their abilities won't allow it.
Whereas yours will.
Exactly. And if I die in the process, well, that's a necessary sacrifice.
You know, I've been wondering, and I hate to bring this up now because this is kind of nitpicky, but how exactly do the Navigator's powers work? And don't just say magic. Like, they can teleport people through, right? But the whole idea is we can't bring the whole army through, right? Okay, that's logical. So bring a person through. And then another person through. And then another person through. Find some random hidey hole forest in the middle of nowhere where there's nobody else and just spend a few weeks bringing through troops. One at a time. What's that? The Navigators need to rest to restore their mana? Okay, let them rest. I mean, they've already spent literally, at this point, months, I think? If not years. I'm not actually sure. Help me out, guys. They have spent a while looking for her. It would take a long time. But who cares? I know that sounds like a strange statement, but it's a solution, and a viable one, that works now. Well, you see, you say that, Sergeant Joe Duck, but everything we've seen about the way they just kind of warp around doesn't really seem to take a lot of time or effort. In fact, we're going to, during the Kaer Morhen battle, we're going to see them actually warp out. And they don't warp out individually while I'm on the subject. So they obviously can warp more than one person at a time, right? So, I mean, that just starts to be a math thing at that point. Warp in 4, 4, 4, and yeah, they can also bring in their ship. That's a good point, Hazard. I didn't actually think about that. You're right. They can bring their whole frickin' ship in, which they do, and we will also see that happen. So, how many people can fit on a ship? Now, all of that being said, it would make sense to me. Now, I know you're going to hate me for this, Uthor. But this is actually something that admittedly bothers me about the lack of characterization for Eredin. Because if Eredin was characterized as someone who knew that, and knew it was a viable option, but was fixated on getting her instead, not because she's a better option, but because of the fact that how dare she have the blood of Anel, how dare she be one with the power and access to the source and blah blah. Basically that she is a stain on elven history, or something, right? Okay, I could buy that. Yeah, exactly. If Eredin was literally a supremacist or had that kind of characterization, all of my problems here would just go away. And this is my final reason why I feel that Eredin should have had some characterization. Anyways, moving on.
How do you ever start traveling with Avallac'h?
As soon as I'd left you and Yen on the Isle of Avalon, I found myself pursued. Eredin and his Red Riders were on my heels. I fled through many worlds, many times. They came very close to catching me once. It was then that Avallac'h appeared, out of nowhere. He found a portal, and took us to a world where Eredin couldn't find us for, perhaps half a year.
So hang on. Before I go forward, one other way that it could work, to go back to the characterizing Eredin thing, imagine if Eredin... So let me add another niggle. Supremacist or whatever, right? Ah! I will use you and use your power. But imagine that he's actually been doing the slowly moving the army thing in this whole time. Like, imagine in the background there are actually troops that have been slowly making their way into our world. Bit by bit, right? Then we find out the other thing he wants to use Ciri's power for, that nobody actually knew about. He wants to use Ciri's power to remove us from here. He wants to send all of us back to his world, where we'll die of the White Frost. And that would then not only add some actual motivation for him wanting her, but make him a more horrible person in the process. Add another layer to his character. Again, just a thought. So here's where we get the cyberpunk reference. Now, I gotta talk about this, but let's hear the reference first.
The world where Eredin couldn't find you. What was it like?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
People there had metal in their heads. Waged war from a distance. Using things similar to megascopes. And there were no horses. Everyone had their own flying ship instead.
Ciri, stop fooling around.
Told you you wouldn't believe me. We should have stayed there.
Now, the reason most people presumed this was a cyberpunk reference was the same reason I presumed it as well. Because I've actually talked about this in several threads and with several people over the years. It's because, as I mentioned, they had already announced they were working on cyberpunk when they were making this game, before Witcher 3 ever came out. So we knew cyberpunk was coming. So it seemed like a nice little, hey, just a little nod. I've already given my thoughts on the continuity section. But there is one other thing that fits that pretty neatly. And I know this is probably going to sound like a joke, but the more I thought about it, the more this makes sense. Star Wars. Now, there's no way they mean that deliberately. If at best, that would just be a reference. But think about it for a second. Think about how commonplace cybernetics is in Star Wars. It's so common, it's an entirely separate race over in over in Tor. What do you mean there's those? Everyone has a flying ship? I mean, there are hover cars in Cyberpunk, but there's also cars in Cyberpunk. We'll have one in Cyberpunk 2077. But in Star Wars, everyone's flying something. Everyone has something flying. Hovercraft or repulsor lifts or whatever. Everyone fights from a distance. I mean, there are melees, but the statistical anomaly of her actually seeing anyone fighting in melee is actually pretty rare, depending on which world she ended up on. And of course, Ciri doesn't really have a great understanding of a galactic community, so you can kind of see the idea of why she would perceive one Star Wars planet she ended up on, like Corellia or Coruscant, and therefore would presume that that's the whole world. I just thought I'd toss that out there, because I thought that was interesting. Either way, Ciri better be in Cyberpunk 2077, or we're going to have issues. Anyone ready to riot with me if she's not?
So why'd you return?
I thought the hunt had lost my scent for good. I thought I was safe. Besides, I wanted to find you. You and Yennefer.
You were looking for us. We were looking for you. Times I thought you were just a step away. Other times, felt like I was going around in circles.
I'm not surprised. There were times I fled pell-mell headfirst and forward.
No, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that she will not actually be in Cyberpunk. Mostly because not only have they said outright that she isn't, but every time... Hi, Chemic. Every time the question's brought up, the people being asked are, like, actually irritable. Like, oh my god, stop asking about that. Right? So, yeah, no, she's probably not going to be in it. Whatever. But while we're on the subject, let's pause here for a moment. How would you do it? Because I know how I would do it. Specifics hazardous. That would qualify as a cameo loaner. Literally just, and there's Ciri. It would have to be during like an in-engine cutscene. One where you don't have control. To make sure that you could just see her. Or maybe she's like on a screen. Wanted for, espionage or whatever. Or this woman is missing. There you go. An investigation mission. Okay, I'm with it. And again, footage of her, I'm with that too. On a carton of milk. I don't know if they have those in Night City. So that sounds kind of like the Strangers concept in RDR2, Huthor, or GTA 5. Basically a random encounter that's pulled from a huge list of random encounter table that can then be pulled, and once pulled doesn't happen again. Implications, that could work. Finger muffin. Several of you have already said the thing I would do. I would make it a side quest chain. I would make it to be you end up going and working with her as part of a side quest. I don't know what the side quest would be, admittedly, because it's almost irrelevant what the side quest is about. But it would be something significant. It would again, put actual effort into the quest. You just happen to be working with her on this particular mission. And then, what I'd probably do is I'd have the end of the mission have you thinking she betrayed you to whoever it is you're trying to steal from or whatever. Because she's vanished. Nah, it doesn't work. I don't like that. Rewind. I don't like that. I've got it. Instead, at the end of the mission, she decides to basically give you all of her share, rather than split it evenly like would normally happen. And you're like, why? And she's like, well, I'm heading out of town. I've got other things to deal with. I want to go find my mother and father, or something like that, right? I want to go see my folks. Okay, well, it's good meeting you, whatever fake name you have. And then she leaves, and then she never seen again, because obviously she went back. That's probably how I'd do it. If the elf was there at all, I would have him be more of a background character. Like, you look, and he's just like, what? And have the main character say something like, I love the ears. And just have him look at him weird, like, okay. Or maybe make that a player dialogue option. You could say, love the ears, as one of the dialogue options. Something like that. I don't know. That's what I'd do. Moving on.
So tell me how it happened, step by step.
Eredin located us mere moments after we landed on Ard Skellig. Soon after, he and his riders surrounded us. I thought it was over, the end. Turned out Eredin had other plans. He produced the phylactery, uncorked it. A fog enveloped us, and Avallac'h began gasping for air.
That's how Eredin cursed Avallac'h, triggered his transformation into Uma?
Yes. He didn't wish to kill him. Humiliation, that's what he was after. But Avallac'h refused to succumb without a fight. He cast a spell that wrought havoc in the hunt's ranks.
And in a full half of a forest on Ard Skellig.
Yet it also gave us time to flee. Avallac'h opened a portal. I leapt in. He was supposed to follow right behind me, but something went awry. Impaired by the curse, he failed to reach the portal in time. We had agreed that if anything went wrong and we were separated, we would meet at his hideout in Velen.
But you failed to meet there.
Yes, we failed to. Once through the portal, instead of at Avallac'h's hideout, I landed right in the middle of Crookback Bog. I barely escaped the crones. And then there was the Baron. You know, he took me hunting. I killed a wild boar with my sword.
I heard.
A coincidence, really. I had no desire to hunt that day, but it felt wrong to refuse. I'd taken nothing remotely resembling a hunting weapon. I simply hadn't intended to hunt. I was wandering through the forest, breathing deep the air. And then I heard a strange sound. Unsettling.
Boar attacked you?
Mm-hmm. Big as a bison, and lumbering straight at me. And all I had was my sword. Had to manage.
Did just fine, judging by how the Baron's men remember it.
Simple soldiers, the whole lot. But we got along splendidly. A shame I had to leave. Flee. But I didn't want to bring the wild hunt down on them. Apart from which, I knew by then the curse was progressing. So instead of looking for Avallac'h, I decided to find you and Yen.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt this awesome scene, but I realized I should have talked about something else. So, the biggest reason why I think Ciri will not be in Cyberpunk at all, like, at absolute most, there might be a very vague reference which could refer to any fantasy character, is because licensing issues and rights issues are a murky affair. You remember the recent legal battle that happened over the last, like, year and a half between Star Control, between Stardock and the actual original creators of Star Control? One of the big sticking points there was the rights to the title and the setting were different from the rights to the characters and the story. And those were those were in different hands, basically. This is a problem Star Trek has had several times as well, because right now, multiple groups own different rights to Star Trek. And it is an established point that character rights are separate. So, this is actually something that hits comic books all the time, too. Marvel technically owns, the X-Men, but the rights to, I don't know, X-Men number 57 are owned by this other person and effectively licensed, or that's not the right word, are effectively being used by Marvel, and then the actual rights owner gets a little bit of a kickback every time they use that character. That's how that usually works. In other words, They could easily put Ciri in, and I'm not saying they don't have the ability to. I'm not saying they're legally restricted from doing so, but based on how character rights usually work, that would mean Uncle Vernon would, by law, have a right to a portion of the money that Cyberpunk 2077 made because a character he owns is in that game. Make sense? Now, that's not necessarily a no thing. But you could see why I would feel that would be a little bit of a discourager from them actually doing it. Rights issues.
So how'd you even meet a man like Whoreson Jr.?
You and Yennefer were nowhere to be found, and I needed someone who could fix the phylactery. No ordinary craftsman would do. I needed a mage, one with extraordinary powers. Dandelion took it upon himself to help me. It was as if his honor depended on it. He arranged a meeting with a mage, but it proved a trap set by the temple guard.
Failed to mention that.
Probably didn't want to worry you. Later, we learned the guard did that sort of thing regularly, in the hope of nabbing anyone who collaborated with mages. We needed to find another way. That was clear. Then Dandelion said he knew a man who owned a piece of Novigrad, as he put it, could do more than others. He was certain to know someone who could fix the phylactery.
Whoreson Jr.
Mm-hmm. I suspected it might not be the best idea, but I was desperate. I had no choice.
You suspected right. Whoreson was not the ideal partner in crime.
Damned simpleton got it in his head that we cheated him and kidnapped Dudu.
Who you promptly freed only to have to flee to Temple Isle. Great idea.
We hadn't planned it. Had no time to consider. We just bolted. I didn't even realize the guardsmen were driving me into a trap. Suddenly there I was, and I knew I had to disappear. At once.
By the way, I hate to keep talking about the rights issue thing. You might. This is why I feel that if she's in Cyberpunk at all, it'll be a reference, an Easter egg, and nothing more. For the same exact reason that World of Warcraft has tons of Easter eggs to literally hundreds of other properties, because Easter eggs is not actually licensing the character, so they don't have any legal problems, or they don't have any money problems. They don't have to pay for the fact that they put in. Oh God, what's an Easter egg off the top of my head? Whatever in, right? And yeah, Witcher 3 does the same thing. Most gaming developers do Easter eggs and references because they're free. And because most of the people making these games are geeks, right? Well, Diablo is not a good example because Blizzard owns that. They came from behind. There you go, the Star Wars reference. Although that's Warcraft 3, but it still works. They don't need to pay LucasArts or Lucasfilm for saying they came from behind, even though it's a clear reference to Star Wars, because references are protected. That's different. If they put Luke Skywalker, who looked like Luke Skywalker, who acted like Luke Skywalker in, then they'd have to pay Lucasfilm. 70% Cyborg. It actually happens after Witcher 3. No. Hello, Mind Blast.
And that's when you landed back in Skellige.
The shore of Hindisfjall. The first pleasant place that came to mind. Hjalmar and I used to swim there.
Wait, so you actually wound up there by accident? I thought you and Avallac'h had arranged something.
No, he simply sensed me use my power. Just as Eredin can sense where I am, where I travel. In fact, Eredin arrived soon after I did. His riders in tow. Once again, things happened quickly. Lofoten, the Hunt's attack, my flight. And then... dreams. Just dreams.
By the way, to talk about the game we're actually playing right now. One of the things I like about this sequence, which I remind you is optional, is the fact that this basically fills in any remaining gaps between the connected points of what we've learned so far, and on the off chance you haven't picked up on it yourself, it lays it out on the table. This is the sequence of events.
What did you dream? I've had nothing but nightmares lately. Pretty horrible.
Likewise, for the most part. In one, a monster grown from a stillborn child chased you. Ugh, that was horrible.
Really?
Had a few nice dreams. For example, in one we sat around a fire, drinking good wine, and all around people danced and laughed.
I like that one a lot better.
Me too. But these dreams, and the others, ended in some tower. No matter what I dream, in the end, I would enter a tower.
Oh, I'd be down for that, Kemek. Of course, I'm someone who really would like the idea of a Ciri game, but what the hell do I know?
Recognize it? Know where it might be?
Not sure. I don't think so, but there was something familiar about it. And something terrifying. The tower was stark and dead. But at the same time, I felt I had to enter it.
Did you?
No. Dreams all ended with me searching for the entrance. And the last time, instead of the tower, I saw your grizzled face. If not for the scar over your eye, I'd have thought I was still dreaming.
I was afraid you were dead. Found some dwarves here. Said they'd try to wake you, but you were cold as ice and you weren't breathing.
And yet you came in.
Who listens to dwarves these days? Speaking of which, they're probably getting antsy. We should go. Got a boat on the beach. Once we land, we'll head for Kaer on horseback.
Right. Conventional means of travel. They're just better. Though a portal would be quicker.
And draw Eredin to us immediately. Rather not risk it. Besides, I hate portals.
Now, in total contrast to my earlier comment, at this point, us heading back on horseback makes perfect sense. Like, as I said earlier, us portaling around to catch everyone, that would make perfect sense. But us riding back, having reached this terminus point, that's logical. We want to have as much time as possible before Eredin narrows in on us. If we warp back, then we'll have minutes to get ready for the invasion. We want a little bit more time than that, so we're going to endure the week's travel in order to make sure that we have some time to prepare. That makes sense, and I have no problems with that. Besides, I'm pretty sure Geralt would put up with portals for Ciri.
Damn. Listen, we gotta think of a way to...
So then...
Get us out of here.
They'll know where we've gone. They'll know how to find me.
They already do. Ciri, take us home.
Then that leads to this. Yeah, he actually goes whoosh, to show the cold. God, I love the camera work in this game. I really do. Yennefer literally pacing.
Whoa, now. There. So, what the...
I do want to kill Lambert. I don't know, G-Gamer. I wouldn't be surprised if they had multiple camera directors, because there is some great camera work in this game.
Welcome back, child.
Ciri!
And look at Yennefer. Seriously. This is probably the first time Yennefer has just completely lost control of herself in the moment.
My, you've grown beautiful.
No point standing around. Come on, time to greet the others.
You've not changed a bit. Any of you. All just like I remembered.
Yeah, well, when you don't age.
What?
Sorry.
They're all here. Everyone you asked for help. Avalok's resting in the tower, still in pretty bad shape. No reason to do it out here. Come inside.
Damn, it's good to see you again.
Maybe I'll give you two a moment.
Triss, please.
No, you must have missed each other terribly. A minute's delay won't hurt anyone.
Ooh, I'm actually torn on that one. What do you think, guys? Chad is dead. What? No, it's not. I think you're lying to me. Fine.
Fine. So, a minute, then we go? Alright? This is just a little awkward.
45 seconds.
Huh?
We've 45 seconds left. Well, 30 now. And then we throw the gauntlet at the Wild Hunt. So I beg you, use these seconds well.
Yen, I adore you.
No points for creativity, but for your candor. Time to go.
I'm guessing that scene flips a little bit if you're with Triss at this point.
Yen, you know the Wild Hunt better than anyone else. Tell us about the magic they use.
Their navigators open portals, rifts that we might counter with Dimeritium or our own magic. They also summon the frost that occupies the voids through which they travel.
There's just not enough of us. It'll be a hard fight.
Ah, Geralt. How are things?
You and Ciri. As I remember, you two grew up together, at least for a while.
Aye. Spent half her childhood in the Isles. Always at my heels she was. Scrawny wee thing. But her leaps on ice skates? Why, none of us could rival them. Tried to outdo her once. Smashed me mouth on a rock.
And then you went to Krach and announced you'd agreed to wed.
You hear of that? Aye. We had 12 winters on us. Both. Any thought of continuing that romance? Me Dow whipped it out of me head. Wonder what it'd be like to see her now.
Farewell, Uncrate. Hunt'll be here soon.
Head Jera is upon us. The final age, the time of the end.
Yeah, Huthor's literally seeing things now. My goodness.
You found her.
This is what you brought, Zoltan?
Those buggers might burst in uninvited. So I've made a Mahakaman mix. When this ploughing blows, it'll be bits and pieces, nothing more.
Bring all your tools with you?
Thought to myself, a battle approaches. Blades will need honing. Plate will need some hammering. That sort of thing.
Thought right. Thanks, Zoltan.
Plan to top that by brewing some more Mahakaman mix. Shite so volatile you need but glance at it to set it off like a flaming fart. Very useful during sieges.
All right. We'll talk later, Zoltan.
By using those portals that Yennefer opened.
Glad you got her back here.
God dang it. I mean, you notice how the end portaling things really does solve a lot of the issues with this.
hope this gas will work.
It shall. You must just ignite it at the right moment.
And that hole, is that there for good?
We shall worry about the hole once it is all over. And now, step back, Master Witcher.
I mean, I've mentioned many times, Kimmick, how this whole section is what Mass Effect 3 needed. Is what going back to Earth really should have been. And I stand by that statement all these years later.
Never thought gas could stink so much. We need to warn the others. Make sure no one comes through here with an open flame. What's next?
I could use a drink.
So could I. We'll find something after the council.
Whoever repaired these walls did a shoddy job of it.
We repaired these walls?
Maybe we can still patch up these holes.
We've got the materials.
I can help you if you wish.
What about Lambert?
I know exactly how he'll take to bricklaying.
She's one of us, Geralt. No way we'll let him take her.
Again,
Junk, barely younger than Vesemir.
for all the things I don't like about Lambert as a person, I mean...
Any progress?
Just can't get this thing to fling a bolt. They'll sooner appoint me Hierarch of Novigrad.
Like, it was nice to see how defensive he was of Ciri right there. And so absolute about it, too. No, we'll not let her take her. We'll not let them take her, don't worry. Just bam! Laying that down there. As I've said before, Lambert does have a very strong sense of loyalty. God, these walls are super thin. Like, someone commented on that yesterday, and I didn't really take a chance to look at it myself. But look at that! That's, what, 3 bricks wide? Take that out with a pickaxe in a couple hours. I might even be exaggerating. How long do you think it would take? How long do you think it would take to take out these walls with just a pickaxe?
Greetings, Wolf.
Esco.
Need some peace. Gotta prepare.
Yep, get those potions ready. Alright, so let's get a save in. There we go.
Elbow higher.
Glad to see you.
Set out alone, Ves tracked me down. Insisted on coming.
I ought to give you a hiding for not asking my help, but I took it all out in Roach along the way.
By the way, Huthor, I can see you're chatting.
Some old friends.
It's not obvious.
What's this horse son doing here?
We need him.
You might have forgotten what he did. I haven't.
Oh, nice, Kennick. And that's amusing. The fact that someone... Look, the Night Reaper mentioned this. Someone already did a video about this. Like I said, I'm not exactly an expert on the architecture. No, I've only seen that once, Huthor.
I'll keep an eye on Letho.
And I'll behave, I promise.
Watch this murderer and you won't be watching the enemy. Why is the Kingslayer so important?
Eridan's a king, ain't he?
I'm sorry.
We'll stay and help. But we don't want him at our backs.
Oh, it's definitely a Twitch issue. Twitch has been twitchy for like 2 weeks now.
Ves, don't be mad.
Poor judgment bringing the Kingslayer here. Fuck.
Roach.
No desire to talk to you right now, Geralt.
You're right, Consulate. I'm sorry.
Big fight ahead of us. How's morale?
Remember our encounter with them at the Hanged Man's Tree. We'll thrash him again this time.
I see your messages, Finger Muffin. Or at least I see the one you just said. But yeah, no, I am pretty sure it's a Twitch issue. It's actually a very common Twitch issue. I've seen that exact issue before. Hey, little bleeder. Nom, nom, nom. It's funny you say that, Kira, because in this timeline, Roach also has killed a king. So, you know, there's that too. I'm sorry, Taito.
I used to fear training on this. So many bruises.
Once you'd left Yen and me on the Isle of Avalon, what happened to you? What did you do?
I traveled through time, space, different worlds. I saw houses of glass, ran with unicorns at the world's end. Even lived in an undersea kingdom for a time.
Under the sea. Bum, ba-dum, bum.
Freedom. Always had a taste for it.
I still do.
So why'd you return?
It was too much. I almost drowned in it. When everything is possible, it quickly becomes a lot less alluring.
I don't think we are capable of killing Radovid at this point. I could be wrong.
Traveling between worlds. What's it like?
It's nice.
Difficult?
It was at first, but in time it became automatic, like riding a horse.
Bet a lot of mages would love to learn to do it.
I'm certain they would. But Avallac'h claims they've neither the knowledge nor talent. He spent 4 centuries learning to do it, yet can still only find and pass through pre-existing portals. I go wherever I please, whenever I please.
Oh my god, she's a nobody! Sudden music cue. And yeah, the Gungan's hazardous. Clearly, the more this lines up with Star Wars, or the more she says, the more this lines up with Star Wars. Now, granted, we'll go to a few worlds later, and none of them look Star Wars-y, but at the same time, how would we know? Star Wars has a lot of planets on it. It could be Star Wars. Well, why not Zoidberg?
So, need your advice about Yennefer.
Very well. Ask away.
The thing is, I'd like to take her somewhere, once it's over. Someplace picturesque, beautiful even, where we can rest. You've been almost everywhere. Also know Yen well. Any ideas? I was thinking Spala, or maybe Dolblathana.
The first roadside inn you pass. Take her there. Pay for a month in advance, carve "Do Not Disturb" into the room door, and shut it behind you.
Just like that?
Just like that.
I have an alternate idea. How about I get a vineyard in Tucson?
Eredin's located you time and again. How's that work?
When I pass between worlds, I create a kind of shockwave. Anyone properly trained can sense it. That's how Avallac'h explains it, at any rate. He can do it too.
So you shouldn't actually ever use your power.
It's not like that. The impulse is stronger the longer my voyage. On short hops, the disturbance is practically imperceptible.
I should go.
All right. We'll talk later.
Hey, Gaunter, I've got a deal to make with you. The bed's still there. When I used to do video games with my niece, just to be silly, because it's me, every now and again I'd have a character, and I'm playing a game, and I just randomly veer off and just start bumping into a wall going, nom, 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 nom. And she'd be like, stop eating that wall! You're not supposed to eat walls! Oh, sorry. And then we keep playing the game normally. And then like a few minutes later, I'd be like, nom, 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 nom. And she'd be like, stop eating the trees! She used to love that. And I was just thinking of that because if she was watching me right now, I would totally do that to the goat. Oh, it's a goat. Nom, 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 nom.
An illusion.
Huh? Nah, whatever. Time for the epic battle, which is not actually the end at all. We got a lot to come after this.
Get everybody together. Time to talk.
Then a goat leg appears in my window. Oh my god! I didn't mean to, kiddo. I'm so sorry. That was my first thought too, Uthor. Yeah, time for the fake ending. The classic Act 2 ending. Did I say hello to Gum Gum? Hello, Gum Gum, if I didn't say hello. If I did say hello, then no more hellos.
Thank you for coming. The Wild Hunt will be here soon. They're coming for Ciri. Want to take her. We'll stop them.
How do you even know the hunt will show?
They always know where I teleport to, and they move from place to place in an instant.
So what's our plan?
Eredin, the king of the hunt. He's confident. He'll strike hard, hoping to defeat us with the force of the blow alone. We've got to take the initiative away from him. Foil his plan.
Oh, there's Kira.
I'll generate a magic dome over the fortress. It will scatter them, force them to land in the woods.
If they're dispersed out in the woods, we could hunt down small groups of riders.
Got our first volunteer for the hunting party. I'm the second.
Count me in too. Always believed attack is the best defense.
The hunt will try to penetrate into the fortress through navigator portals. I can do nothing against this kind of magic, so you'll need to find and close as many as you can while hunting in the woods.
Lambert will make us dimeridium bombs. Remember the formula?
Of course.
Excellent. Erden should work on the portals as well. I shall also give you each an amulet. Snap them in half and you'll become invisible, at least while you remain still or move slowly. Move abruptly, engage any foes, clash with them, and they will see you. Apart from that, they will be able to hear you and smell you. If you come across a large unit, do not attack. Signal Triss and she will provide support.
I'll look for your signal. Soon as I see it, I'll rain fire on the forest.
Remember, there's only a few of us. We have to help each other, work together. If anything goes wrong and the hunt puts us on the defensive, we pull back, make a stand at the gates of the fortress. The inner courtyard is our last line of defense. If we don't stop them there, we're doomed. Ciri's most important in all of this. The hunt's after her, and we have to defend her at all costs.
What do I do?
Stay inside the keep. If they break through, come inside. We'll all converge to help you.
Out of the question. I can look after myself.
No one doubts that, child. But remember the most important moment when hunting a monster.
Wait for an opportunity.
After the council, I'll give you an amulet. If you use it, a ball of fire will land where you're standing, just in case.
I was actually thinking something similar, Leander. They keep mentioning how few of them there are, but really, this is actually a bit of a powerhouse team we've got going on here. We've got Letho and Geralt, arguably the two deadliest witchers currently walking the earth, along with Lambert and Escort, two additional witchers, who are not exactly slouches. Vesemir, the fencing instructor and the aged guy. We've got two not exactly slouches when it comes to mages. That's just the beginning of it, because then we also have everyone else. We also have Kira, sorry. We have Kira as well, who is also present, constantly casting Give a Glan to blind the enemy. I mean, I'm just pointing out the fact that we're not an inferior force in the strictest sense of the word. We're just an inferior force because even a hero can only stand so long against an army. To use D&D terms, if you need to roll a 20 to hit someone, then, statistically speaking, every 20th soldier is going to hit you. Then that adds up after a while.
What else do we have that we can use?
Since you plan to ambush the hunt in the woods, I could dig some trapping pits, blue stripe style.
Meaning?
Deep as the dark abyss, bottoms bristling with sharpened stakes.
I brought this Mahakaman mix. Flammable as bone-dry saltpeter and ploughing sticks to everything. We fill some barrels, stack them in a narrow passage, and fire them up at an opportune moment.
You know, we stand on a vast deposit of gas. If need be, I could open cracks in the earth, create explosions. I would need to prepare, though.
There's the laboratory and the workshop.
One thing to remember, we've got limited resources and even less time. We ought to decide what kind of weaponry will be most useful against the hunt.
Absolutely. We need to assign one type of weaponry each to the lab and workshop.
So, that's an interesting idea, Kira White Noise, and would also work pretty well if only he had some actual characterization. was going to comment on something. You notice how the construction of this cutscene keeps into account the optional nature of the previous bit, right? You'll notice how the first part of the cutscene was all talking to people who are going to be here no matter what. The second part of the cutscene was talking to people who you can optionally go and talk to bring them here. I just feel like pointing that out because they smoothly segue from one to the other. But you can kind of see the rigging of the dialogue trees there.
Who needs access to the lab?
I started brewing some potions. Like to finish, if you don't mind.
I could prepare more of those Witcher's traps, but I'd need all the lab equipment.
Let's do potions.
Always relied on potions. We should brew as many as possible.
Let's talk about the workshop. Been wanting to fix that breach in the wall, but we'll need the same tools to clear the rubble from the armory.
Rubble?
Haven't you heard? Roof caved in a couple of years back. There's some excellent swords in there. Swords we could use.
Filling in the breach seems just as important. They come through there, the siege will be over awfully quick.
What do you guys think? Funnily enough, the other reason I went with the potions earlier is because we have 5 Witchers on hand who can use the potions. That's like, what, a third of our entire force can use those potions? Like, if you're playing an RTS and you can buff 1/3 of your forces with one thing, that's a good bet, right? Honestly, everything about me is thinking the wall. Because what is the purpose of a wall but to direct an enemy to attack in a place where you decide? Right? So, let's go with the wall.
Fixing the breach in the wall's a priority.
We won't have time to do much else. Everything settled?
Yeah.
Yes, settled. We don't have much time, so let's get to work.
Let's sum up. Yennefer will create a magic barrier to repel the main assault. That should push the opposing force into the woods, where Lambert, Geralt, and Letha will be waiting. They'll use Dimeridium to close the Navigator's portals, stop as many warriors as possible from entering the fortress. Triss will be waiting for their signal, then give the riders hell. All others will repel any foes who make it inside the fortress walls.
If anything goes wrong, we abandon the outer courtyard, pull back to the keep. Remember, Eredin can't get his hands on Ciri. That's most important. Let's look at the map of the fortress, figure out the details.
Hours later.
Can't help feeling we've overlooked something important.
Don't think about it.
Wanted to talk about what we can expect.
Thanks, not interested. You should talk to Ciri, fine mood she's in. Your potions.
2 experience points.
Thanks for everything.
I'll saddle the horses. Come once you're ready to head into the woods.
Taking Letha with us.
You know my opinion.
Yeah, well, you know. Your opinion can stay at the door. We'll talk about it afterwards. How's that sound? No, I missed talking to Kira earlier, and I didn't do it on purpose. Is she still here? She's probably not. Kira, you didn't have anything to say during the dialogue. Kira. Ah, whatever. Yes, Gum Gum. Salted does answer me. Apparently I could have talked to Ciri, too. Oh my god, really? Hang on.
Gonna have... And the...
Yep. Only... Good work. Yen.
They're here.
Slowed me lots more. Wait and see.
Ahem. So this was there. So let's go talk to Kira first. It's okay, I can time travel. It's very easy. I do it all the time. Hang on, is this before or after I talk to Ciri? Let's find out.
I used to fear train.
This is before. So, oh, and then we talk to our daughter. She's awesome.
It's
difficult.
It was
better luck.
I'm so. I go where. Very
Thing is, you.
The just like when I. All right.
I mean, save state powers are top tier for a reason. I've said that many times. It's still the superpower I would most want for myself if I had a choice in real life.
An illusion. Getting all gussied up for the wild hunt.
Women only ever beautify themselves for their own satisfaction.
Glad you're here.
It's good to see you again.
Expected you earlier.
I started off heading in the opposite direction, but then turned around.
What made you change your mind?
There are times when a woman should simply not explain her decision. That goes doubly for sorceresses.
Interesting illusion. Let's get rid of it.
Leave my dresser alone.
How are you? Care more into your liking?
More so than Velen, but that's hardly an achievement.
Oh, absolutely, Kamek. As I said before, we do have a heck of a powerhouse team here. And a powerhouse team can do a lot. Oh, jeez. I got stuck in a cutscene. I got stuck in a cutscene. And a powerhouse team, well... there's a military term for that, and I can't actually think of it. It's basically when... they're really good at taking out a specific target. Precision strikes, right? They may lose to an army, but they can kill an army's general, for example. Or take out the artillery, something like that.
Who needs access?
Then what?
Rubble.
Haven't feel
Fixing the...
I'm out of Kleenex. I'll be right back. Yeah, I could see that, Kamek.
Yeah. That's the... Can't...
Don't...
What's ready?
Haven't had much time to prepare, so not much, honestly.
Your potions.
Oh, you suck, Papa Neeks. Congrats.
Take...
But you still suck. Okay, save. Save. Where's Ciri? Ciri! Causing issues for people, owners of phones for years to come. Where is she? Oh, there she is.
Got a minute?
Serious talk coming.
I won't let them take you. You know that.
I know.
You gotta keep clear. Stay out of trouble.
Don't treat me like a child.
Didn't even do that when you were one.
I like it when you smile. Come here. Everything will be all right.
I mean, it will in the end. So, how do we get Lambert killed? Just asking. For no reason. I'm kidding. I don't want him to die. I don't want him to die. But I am curious how to prevent him from dying. Oh, so I just help him? That's it? No, that's easy. I got your back, Lambert. What? He's an ass, and I would never get along with him. But he's got my back, and I got his. Oh, apparently Kira saves him anyway. So we're good, guys. We're good. Apparently he doesn't even need me to get his back. Frickin' Lambert. What a prick, am I right? Yeah, notice the cold. So I was told they actually got real choreographers for an upcoming scene. Is that true? Because I would believe it. It's excellent choreography.
See that? It's starting. Woods, now.
And Letha's just like, and I'll come along too. So there's Yen's contribution to the fight. And that's not me being snarky, that's a huge contribution. Shields are a tremendous power, especially when they can prevent teleporting.
Thank Yen once this is all over. That spell, really something.
And the invisibility.
Hounds could sniff you out, so don't get too close. And you'll be visible as soon as you start fighting. Remember that.
He always talk this much?
Only when he's nervous. Good work with these bombs, by the way.
Aim at the portals. Be precise. I'm out of Dimeridium.
Yen mentioned casting the Erden at the rifts. Said the sign could seal them.
They're here. Time to say hello.
Slow down. Element of surprise is key. Stay hidden. Give Triss a chance to show them what she can do. Then we'll hit him.
Mean to say Marigold can conjure up more than a cloud of butterflies?
Lots more. Wait and see.
Next time you get the feeling I'm about to piss off Marigold, make sure and knock me upside the head.
Yeah, she just took out that whole strike by herself, like good artillery should.
These moments, the air before a battle, nothing smells as sweet.
Damn it, it won't let me save. Whatever. Well, I've got the bombs, but I also have Yrden, which is that one. Oh, whatever.
Not that I don't trust this.
I hate portals. One less to worry about. Problem solved.
Geralt, come here! Look, they're regrouping.
See the commander? Name's Imlerith. I remember him from back when I rode with the hunt.
Damn it. Spell's waning. We're becoming visible.
We're gonna try to kill him.
Too risky.
Pansy.
Yeah.
What's with Marigold?
Shit.
I mean, we do end up doing it, but yeah, he's a heavy. I'll give him that. Ciri. Oh my god.
You were meant to wait inside.
I refuse to sit idle while you risk your lives for me.
Back inside!
No! Geralt gave the signal from the woods and Triss hasn't cast the spell.
Damn it! All right, run to her.
That's actually funny. I thought the armor they wore was mostly for part of their mystique and decor, not for Zoltan.
Double chase!
Not for protecting them from the cold.
Ciri!
What's that? Princess Peach sections? We love Princess Peach sections.
Hold on, Triss! Ciri! Get back to the feet! No! Geralt gave the signal! I'm ready!
Then do it. I suppose there's no reason it couldn't be both, Leander, so valid.
Damn it!
I mentioned choreography. This isn't even the best they'll do. This is just some awesome stuff. Being sincere hazardous? I'm thinking too. Despite the slow-mo.
Head back.
And Letho's an afterthought again. And he's fine, because he's a jackass. I can't wait to kill him.
Yennefer's spell is waning. Blizzard's almost at the fortress.
Faster, Roach.
Don't stop! Marigold will shield us. Wonder if it took him out.
Imlerith? Doubt it.
Don't worry, I know you're gonna win this fight. You remembered to bring the Krogan.
Large detachment approaching from the woods. We need to close the gate before they get inside.
In fairness, Letho isn't in 2 all that much either. trying to. Okay, fine, whatever. Apparently you don't mean that gate, you mean this gate. Fine, fine. Or don't? Hello? Okay. It isn't letting me jump. I would, but it won't let me jump, so give me a second. Let's try this again. There we go, now it's letting me jump. That's weird. Like, legitimately weird. It wasn't letting me jump. But whatever. Probably because I was in combat.
La da da.
Why can Imlerith teleport, though? Why can Eredin teleport, for that matter? Despite being people's... I like his weapon, too, by the way. I got your back, Lambert. Or Kira does, one of the two. Thanks, Kira. I am aware of that, Dijkstra, yeah.
That was amazing. Thanks.
You'd never have managed without me, would you? Come now, admit it.
Lambert, damn it! Stay with us! We gotta pull back! Yennefer's strength is waning!
Okay. Oh, they're both navigators. That would explain it.
We gotta pull back! Yennefer's strength is waning!
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
Heads up! Fall back! Through the gate! Into the courtyard! Fall back! Through the gate! Into the courtyard!
Not a second too soon.
Get back to your position.
Check the passage to the main courtyard!
Where's Escort?
Damn it! We agreed he'd open that gate.
Hasn't done it yet. Means...
He'll be fine. We've got Triss to worry about now.
No, it's okay. I have full hearts, so my sword's at full power right now.
Just in time!
Everything all right?
Yes, thanks. Things were looking shaky.
We had to fall back. They tried to get in through the main gate. I'm afraid they could succeed next time.
What's with Escort? We have to retreat. He's in trouble. I'm going to help him. Remember the stone I gave you.
So let's try that heavy attack. Or maybe not. So there's Evil Face. He's actually pretty cool. At least I think that's him. No, this is the guy I was thinking of. Funnily enough, I never saw this trailer.
I can do it too.
Should have stayed in the keep. Set your ass down like you were supposed to.
Who would have saved yours then?
Thank you.
We have to open the gate for them.
Let's go. Yeah, the other guy more or less literally cheated, so... Not that there is such a thing in a fight.
Escorts, open the gate! We can retreat beyond it!
Fall back. You're not supposed to be out here.
Too late now.
They're coming in through the gaps! Time iridium bombs. You'll find more in the crates by the walls.
Geralt, hold them back. I must form a circle of vitality.
I can do that.
We've got to close the portals. If we don't, we die.
Fine. Close. I actually find it interesting that Yrden works at all for those. I'm curious why it works. I mean, I get from a gameplay perspective, but I mean from a lore perspective. I'm coming.
The wall! Stop them!
Little Bleeder's still alive, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Geralt! I can't hold them any longer! They're swarming the yard by the main gate!
On my way.
Give me a second, I have to kill two guys real quick. The corporeal thing makes sense, the wraith thing, so I'm with you on that. I was actually about to comment on the idea of using the White Frost as a weapon, which, as we've talked about before, they do quite a few times.
Come.
Where is he? We must...
You shan't escape me this time. Imlerith.
Run!
She'll not abandon you. You humans are so impractical.
Ciri, no! I forbid you! You always were an unruly child. I adored that about you. Now fly!
Notice the blood. What do you think happened to the things and corpses that were sucked into that? I was debating between vaporized or translocated. Or both. Bits and pieces scattered.
I was too late to help him.
It's not your fault.
I should not have fled here to Kaer Morhen.
Avallac'h is weak, but alive. Triss is tending to the others.
I nearly killed you. Killed everyone.
We'd all be dead if not for you.
No, Geralt. The hunt would never have come to Kaer Morhen if I wasn't here.
Vesemir's funeral. We should prepare. Don't blame yourself. No Witcher's ever died in his own bed.
You don't know how it is to see someone you love die. Because of you. For you.
We all knew what we were signing up for.
Yes. And you saved me. For how long? A week? A month?
We'll hide you. Cover your tracks.
No. I will flee no more.
Varthael. For those who remain, death should never take precedence over life. Pay your last respects to your friend. Then we must hold council.
Honestly, gameplay, damn it. I can't think of a good reason why the Wild Hunt decided to peace out for such a long period of time. A brief period of time? Sure. They had effectively won that battle. If not for Vesemir and for, Ciri and Avallac'h.
What's on your mind?
Kaer Morhen. Can't imagine this place without Vesemir. I'll head down the valley soon, then find somewhere else to winter next year.
What do you think? Should we try to convince him to stay? Assuming we even can. I mean, I wouldn't blame him for wanting to leave. This place has a couple bad memories. One or two. If I was writing it, I would go with what Brigwin said. The idea that such a pure source outburst has fundamentally altered the, let's call it the fabric of this region. Like this whole area. So they literally can't come back in, or it's much harder to come back in, or something. It could also be a combination of things, like maybe they were really hit hard by that one. Except for Imlerith, obviously, because we killed him at the feast, but you know what I mean. Or maybe it's the fact that they aren't even 100% certain that anybody survived, so maybe the plan is lost until they find out she's alive. I don't know. I like the destabilization idea the best myself, but it could be all three of these.
I get you.
Try my luck in Lormark. There's always work where there's war. After that, we'll see.
Till next time.
See you, Wolf.
Thank you.
Please. She was my ward, too. And the old should only ever stick around to help the young. You know, this hardly ends your struggle.
I know.
Whatever you aim to do now, remember you'll find souls willing to aid you in Skellige. Myself, Frach, his children.
Thanks. I'll remember that.
I shall take another look at the wounded. But I'll need to go soon. I'll leave you some medicines.
Go in health, Ermion.
Till we meet again.
Thanks for everything you did for me and Ciri.
May I be honest? Had I known what would happen here, I'd never have come anywhere near Kaer Morhen. I'm glad I could help, but I shall leave as soon as Lambert feels better.
You going together?
I've an idea, but I need a witcher to help me see it through. Lambert has agreed to assist me.
Good luck, and thanks again.
We're even now.
Can we talk?
What about?
Holding up all right?
Love questions like that. Am I holding up? What? My dick? This is shit, Geralt, and you know it. Knew the old man couldn't live forever. Even told Eskel that when it came time, I'd get his sword. Fits my hand perfectly, you know? But Vesemir deserved a better death. Whereas he died like a louse. Crushed.
We'll avenge him.
Doesn't look that rosy to me.
See you later.
Yeah, take care.
There you are. Crying shame about Vesemir. I'm sorry.
Thanks for your help.
I had a debt to pay.
Heading straight back to Skellige?
Wouldn't be right to tarry. War with the Black Ones won't wait. You can count on me, you know. Always.
I know. Thanks.
Yeah, let's go to Zoltan next.
Come to see how I'm feeling. Thanks. not bad.
That's good.
Son. Horrible about Vesemir. I know you were close.
Thanks. We were.
Listen, far be it from me to stick my beard, but it'll no scratch an itch. So don't take this the wrong way. I want to help, whatever you decide, but to my mind, we've got to counterattack. We've got to find the hunt, Eredin, and charge at them both like a bull at a heifer.
I actually agree with that. Even from a purely tactical perspective, this is the time to switch over to the offensive. Like it or not, Ciri's explosion and Vesemir's death has bought us something absolutely invaluable. Time. And we should turn that time back around. That's completely ignoring the fact that I want to kill them in the face for taking out Vesemir. Let's ignore the vengeance side of this equation. The fact that they're on the back foot, as Brigman so accurately puts it, means that this is the time to push.
Not that simple, unfortunately. We have no way of finding them. They find us easily. Can take us by surprise whenever they want.
Forgive me, Geralt, but that's the blathering of a man who clearly can't snap out of it after a tragic loss.
I love you, Zoltan.
Sleep it off, whatever it takes. Just get yourself together and think things through.
I'll do that, Zoltan.
Sorry. You know, there's several things that define a bro for me. Obviously, they have to be there for you. You know, they got your back. There's a camaraderie, a connection. But one of the not often thought about aspects of being a bro is being willing to tell you, hey, you're an idiot. Not as an insult. Not as a way to hurt you. But because you're being an idiot.
So, tell me.
I can say I've seen it all now.
I still don't believe everything that happened.
Risked your lives for me. How can I repay you?
We'll think of something, right?
Definitely.
What will you do?
We're bound for Novigrad. To fight the next fight.
If you miss us, look for us at the camp.
And don't worry, I'll side with you and not Dijkstra. After all, they were there for me.
That was tough.
We managed.
Thanks for helping.
You're welcome.
Would you consider staying at Kaer Morhen?
It'd be nice. At least for a while, till I figure out what's next.
Agreed. Do it.
Funnily enough, there's a term for that in boxing, like an actual boxing term. I can't think of it, Hazardous. It's basically when you've got someone to the point where they're clearly reeling, and that's the moment when you go for a straight jab. All of the force going straight forward to push them straight back. I can't think of that term, but it's... Is it on the ropes?
Geralt can harness immense amounts of the power. Why has no one taught her to control this?
Actually, some did teach her.
Clearly to no effect.
I'll gladly argue with you about this some other time.
But anyways, it's related to what you were talking about there, Hazardous. We need that jab to the face right there, just to push them.
Haven't had a chance to talk. Thanks for your help. And for looking after Ciri.
You will thank me later. Now we must take Geralt from here, hide her, and then gather a greater force.
Anyone, everyone we could count on came here to Kaer Morhen.
Which is why we must seek the help of enemies. Magic is our best defense against the hunt. We need sorceresses. Archmistresses of magic.
You mean the Lodge?
Many of the Lodge's members are dead. The rest are in hiding.
Philippa Eilhart, Margarita Loantil, and Fringilla Vigo are likely still alive.
And Francesca and Ida? Think they'd agree?
I think they'll take convincing. Would you rather speak to Kira alone?
That would probably be best.
Don't trust the Lodge one bit, but doesn't seem like we have a choice.
Because we don't. I've made an agreement with the Emperor. In exchange for its help, the Lodge will be granted amnesty and find asylum in Nilfgaard. That will be our bargaining chip.
And I hate to interrupt, but that is a hell of a bargaining chip if you think about it, given the current political climate. Even if the war goes south for the South, that still means they have a safe haven, right?
Triss, I wish to leave today to find the sorceresses. Will you help me?
Of course. Even got an idea where you could start.
Damn it! Again you planned without even asking what I think. I've had enough of this. I won't be taken somewhere like a bundle. I will not sit and twiddle my thumbs. I am sick of waiting, sick of hiding.
You're right. Prove today you can take care of yourself.
Easier to pat someone on the back and hope things will work out than it is to face the truth. Geralt possesses a great power she cannot control. She is a danger to herself, to others. Until she learns to control it, she should remain isolated.
First of all, bollocks. Second, if you're going to speak of courage, at least address me directly, and not through Geralt. I'm gone.
Better go after her.
Wait, she needs time. We must let her resolve her grief on her own. Then we should start training as soon as possible. She must learn to control her abilities.
This training really necessary?
You saw what happened. She could be a greater threat than the Hunt.
Fine. We'll stay here a while longer, then join you and Triss in Novigrad. Meet at Dandelion's Inn.
Come on, Yen. The sooner we leave, the better.
See ya.
Remember that whole discussion we had about politeness? People like Avallac'h are one of the reasons I adhere to that concept. Whether he's accurate or not almost doesn't matter to me. I mean, I like honesty, don't mistake me. But there's a difference between being honest and being rude.
It's not working, don't you see?
Discouraged after a mere 8 attempts? Ciri,
How many times must I try?
as many as it takes.
But I'm not getting anywhere.
We shall return to this later.
Didn't make it far first time out on the gauntlet either.
Geralt, please, not now. By comparison, the gauntlet was a walk in the park. But that's not the point.
What is?
Avallac'h says nothing will come of this until I stop thinking about the battle. But at the moment, I find it impossible to fill my head with kittens and vanilla pudding. Tell me, how do you do it?
What?
Always manage to pull yourself together. Focus. No matter what's happening.
There's a certain ancient method. Vesemir taught it to me, and Barman taught it to him.
Will you take me into the mountains and make me drink hemlock?
The Skellige druids have used it for centuries. It always works.
Hey! You'll regret that.
Uh-oh.
Hey, that's cheating.
Wimp.
We'll see about that.
Come and get me. Oh, I will thrash you.
Good shot.
What do you think? Should I let her win? Honest question.
Oh, you're
I say let her. I'm actually not sure it's... Crank up Snowball.
Done playing nice.
I mean, I've dodged several, but sure, we'll do a straight dodge. Or not? It didn't want to dodge. That's very strange.
Hey! That's cheating! Oh, you're in for it now.
A very small detail I like. I don't know if this is actually a detail, like a real detail or not. Is she'll teleport into a direction. Like, basically, she'll teleport facing this way. And she even, like, the
You'll regret that.
the animation goes this way. And then she actually ends up back here. I have no idea if that's legitimate or not. If that's just a byproduct of the way they're doing it. But I'd like to think Ciri's doing that on purpose. Misdirection, in short. Aw. Terrible shot.
Oh, you're in for it now.
Come on, Ciri. Stop trying to hit me and hit me. Yeah, no kidding, Uthor. What is she doing?
Good shot.
Yeah, this is another good example of a breather quest. Especially in the wake of what just happened.
Nice.
It's even more interesting since this is basically optional. I'm gonna go ahead and let her beat me. Let's see what happens. Because you'll notice, I just noticed, us winning or her winning are both quest objectives right now. Which is a nice way to do that.
Done playing nice.
Whoop, I missed! Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap! There we go.
Oh, I will thrash you.
Alright, this is it. It's down to one last snowball. What do you got, Ciri?
You'll regret that.
Ha-ha! Geralt of Rivia, defeated! Need to work on those dodges.
Sure I didn't let you win?
Sure you're not smarting from a defeat by a true maestro? You were right. That really works. Thanks.
Glad to be of service. So what now?
I just lost, Vigilant.
Our dearest sages.
Feet.
Geralt! Wake up!
What? What's happening?
Get up. We must go. I've saddled the horses.
Ciri, it's the crack of dawn. Where do you want to go?
To Velen. Bald Mountain. But a few days till the Witch's Sabbath. And guess who's the guest of honor?
Dunno. Enlighten me.
Imlerith. We'll have no better chance to get him.
Where'd you get this idea? What's gotten into you?
I must avenge Vesemir. The Sabbath. It's the perfect opportunity. Imlerith will be drunk among his cohorts, caught up in the revelry. He'll not expect the blow.
So, funnily enough, this actually makes perfect sense, tactically speaking. But what I find most interesting is that there's an implication here, and we talked about this the last time we were in Velen, that Imlerith actually shows up every now and again to do this. Like, that this has been a regular thing that he shows up for and participates in. And this makes more sense now that you guys tell me that Imlerith is actually a navigator himself. So that he is capable of doing this on his own initiative. In other words, he's not actually here as part of the Wild Hunt. He's just having fun with the festival. Something about that actually fits very neatly in there for me. And of course, now we get to kill him, and I remember him being an interesting boss fight. Unfortunately, I've never fought him uncheated, and I will not this time either. And I agree with Hazardous. This is actually very smart. Removing one of their navigators is a big deal. Removing one of their elites is a big deal. Removing one of their generals is a big deal. Like, if for every reason, and of course, this is a strike back. As Zoltan mentioned earlier, we do need to turn this around.
Ciri, sure you know what you're getting into?
Yes, and I must do this. Come, we shall talk on the way.
Yeah.
Lead on.
Ready?
So I was debating that one.
Let's go.
For the record, to join in on the conversation that was happening while I was being silent, I think Vesemir, in a one-on-one, no external variables fight, could probably take Imlerith in a fight. I do think that. But that was anything but. Imlerith had several other people around him. Vesemir was distracted since defeating Imlerith was not his goal. You know, there were several additional variables there that led that against Vesemir. And you notice once Imlerith got the upper hand, he just started wailing on him. Plonk, 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 plonk. And yeah, I noticed that too, Hazardous. Until they used their secret weapon, we were actually winning that battle. Now, I mean, that's why it's usually called a secret weapon. Or a super weapon, I suppose, is actually a better way to call that.
The men at Crow's Perch, they spoke of this place. Ard Serbin, home of the Ladies of the Wood. The peasants feared coming here, and the Baron thought the Ladies of the Wood a terrifying tale for naughty children. Incidentally, I wonder how the Baron is.
He found his wife, took her away, somewhere far. Anna, she was unwell.
A true shame.
You know, what's funny is I hate this place. I think I've made that very clear. But I'm okay with it because we're about to do some very enjoyable things here. Hi, Lyrian.
We stand to find Imlerith here? You sure?
Avilark told me of beings who commune with the NL elves. They can be found in every part of our world. In Velen, the crones do this. Apparently, Imlerith came here at Eredin's behest, to order the crones to keep their eyes open and ears pricked, in case Avilark were to seek shelter in his Velen hideout.
Took the order literally, judging by all the ears hanging in the woods. Think Imlerith might still be here?
He craves the pleasures of the flesh, wine, sex. The crones indulge him, flatter his ego. I'm certain he'd not let this opportunity pass, and will be on Bull Mountain for the Sabbath.
You actually know this area?
Centuries ago, it was a hallowed site for druids. But then the crones arrived, destroyed the Velen Circle, and deformed the sacred oak atop the mountain. An important feast is observed here annually. The Sabbath, they call it. All the local folk attend. I suspect Imlerith attends too, as the crone's guest.
Seem to know it well.
Avilark's a good tutor.
I don't know about that. And yeah, I don't think it's really negative worthy, but I do think it's a shame that basically the entire rest of this game will be running. The pace of the entire rest of the main plot is a sprint from now until we actually end up going and dealing with the White Frost. I'm not sure what I think about that. I'll have to see it again in action with the rating system in mind. It definitely has some good parts. See, sprinting as a pacing thing isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sprinting as a pacing measure can be a good thing. It depends on how it's executed and how the rest of the story is done. It's like VA Ghost. VA Ghost is awesome, but if you make VA Ghost too fast or too slow, depending on the scene that VA Ghost is in, it doesn't work quite as well. Thank you for the bits, VA Ghost. Much appreciated as ever. Do you know what you want to put those towards? I don't even have the document up. Oh no, I do have the document up. Woo! For once.
Let's get this done.
We must reach the peak. We'll find Imlerith there.
Oh, I know, Huthor. See,
Folk of Velen call this night the Feast of Gifts. I've no idea why. Havelock claims vanity is Imlerith's greatest weakness.
Vanity?
Any foe he faces, he strives to impress. The other one, Caranthir, is said to be secretive and pragmatic. Hardly surprising, given he was Havelock's student.
God, I can't run or sprint or anything. I'm literally stuck at this speed. Really, VA Ghost? Okay, that is valid. You got it. I don't have any more questions, Gum Gum. But I already answered your other question, Gum Gum. I ask about food because the nature of how a nation procures, what they procure, how they procure it, how they preserve it, how they distribute it, and how they cook it. Basically, you can define everything of a nation from those 5 points of the food chain. And that's always the first thing I recommend people do when building a new culture or society or nation was work on the food chain.
Should I shoot?
One serve the ladies.
But he's an outside.
Let them approach.
But
they've come for the feast. Wouldn't do to cast them out.
Didn't come to celebrate. We need to get to the top of the mountain.
The gate is shut. You'll not pass. But we've fires down that away, with food and drink aplenty. Sit down beside one, and perhaps this year the ladies will descend. Give us the privilege of seeing them.
Hang on. Okay, we're good. I already have Rimmon. There are 2 pluses I gave out for Kaer Morhen. And then I had to respell it because apparently it's Morhen, not Morhen. But whatever.
We thank you for the invitation. Be glad to sit down, right?
Speak for yourself.
Come with me.
I always find it funny when Geralt is basically more adaptive socially than most of the people he's around. Like, you ever notice that? He knows how to talk his way around a situation. He knows how to pick up on things almost immediately. Oh, I agree, Hazardous. Like I said, I haven't decided yet. I want to see it again live with the review system in mind to really judge it. But, well, let me put it to you this way. I'm fine with a section that's sprinting as long as it's properly executed in the narrative whole. Modern Warfare 3 failed on that point spectacularly. Like, if I was to do a review of Modern Warfare 3, I guarantee you at least 2 negatives would be given to the game for its pacing. 1 to story and 1 to gameplay. Possibly more, because it's a non-stop problem throughout the entire game.
Mentioned a gate. Said we wouldn't pass.
Only the chosen visit the ladies. Every year, young lads and lasses climb the mount, but never more than 3.
Let me guess. The young lads and lasses don't return.
No, they return happy and radiant. But rare is the one who then stays in Velen. Off they go to seek fortune in the wider world.
We'll see, Hazardous. We'll see.
Ladies of the Wood visit you?
If they favor us. My father told me they descended once. Passed from fire to fire, listening to hopes and grievances. So each year, we wait for them to walk amongst us once more.
Haven't done it in a long time, then.
No point waiting to see if we'll get lucky.
Yeah, we gotta try to reach the peak. This celebration, what's it about?
What do you need to know, Wanderer?
No need for anger. The White Ones serve the ladies as we do now.
Seriously.
We send them gifts
God.
all year long. And on this night, they repay us with their blessing.
I met one of your gifts to the crones. Sniveling. Scared to death and about 8 years old.
Stay calm.
I mean, don't mistake me. I'm with Ciri on this, but again, there's a degree of social tact that's necessary to navigate through social interactions. And funnily enough, I don't think Ciri has any of that. I'm actually debating in my head why. But I suppose, you know, given that she doesn't have the experience he does, it makes sense. And of course, she's 21, so there's that too.
Said the ladies bestow blessings on you.
Aye, for our lives turn thus. First a summer of labour neath the hot sun, then autumn rains, then a winter of death. Then we await spring, when all that is dead is born anew. And from our blood and sweat the oak bears acorns, at times few, at times a handful.
What do you do with the acorns?
The Velen elders gather, hold council. Some favour grinding them to spread on the fields for a rich harvest. Others want them given to a cunning woman who'd make medicine for consumption.
A handful of enchanted acorns is enough for all Velen.
'Tis never enough.
I mean, why would it be? But yeah, to finish my point here, Geralt is big on knowledge. Yeah, I know. That theme just keeps coming up. And one of the best ways to get knowledge is to ask as many people as many different things as you can. If you are rude or brusque or blunt to someone, they might not be open back to you. If you give them the veneer of politeness, they will at least try to express some of their honest opinions, and then you have more knowledge, which means you have more to work with. It's worth noting that Geralt doesn't always do that, too. He usually does that, you know, for more normal people, or for things that he feels are very deadly, like the crones. Geralt is just like her when it comes to something where he doesn't need knowledge, or with something low tier, like how he'll react to random bandits or murderers, for example.
Your children. Why do the ladies need them?
We know not and never ask.
You don't know? Then let me tell you.
Tell us instead what a peasant, his own young and starving, is to do with a wandering war orphan. You're not from here. Don't judge us by others' laws.
No. Sorry, buddy. Doesn't work that way.
Heard enough about this. We've got other questions.
And that question is... It's time to go.
We should be going.
Eager to see the ladies. I share your yearning.
We're afire with yearning. Come, Geralt. We must get there before daybreak.
Go to the tent and stand before Thekla. She's the one who decides who's worthy to face the ladies.
Seen him about already.
That's him.
He can never know.
If only they could
hard
Uncle give plenty, don't you fret.
Good ladies, merciful ladies.
Look over there. Children.
Both godlings. Run into them before. They say ghosts are a manifestation of inner fears. Hauntings are said to be longing and loneliness grown to vast proportions. There's no truth to that. It is true, however, that monsters can be as lonely as humans, and that to conquer one's loneliness, one must first conquer one's fears. Some manage to do just that.
Okay.
He the one who kicked you out of your house? Yes. Oh, well, I must have a word with him. Don't hurt him. Who do you think you are? Kicking Sarah out of her home? How could you?
Wasn't her home, and besides...
Please. It worked out in the end. If I'd not left Novigrad, I'd never have met Johnny. Oh, fine. I'll let you off this time. See, you found your lass. So what brings you here?
What are you doing here? And how'd you two end up together?
Got an invitation we couldn't refuse. Around the Sabbath, the ladies get nicer of a sudden. Or maybe they're just out to show me who's in charge.
Did I hear right? You walked here all the way from Novigrad?
Weren't no trouble for someone who talks to birds. A blackbird told me about Johnny, so I pottered over.
We're heading up the mountain. Any advice?
Yeah? Don't do it. Johnny says the crones aren't to be fooled with. You've barely found your lass. Didn't find her just to lose her now, did you?
We'll be fine.
Do as you will. Path up the mountain starts the other side of the gate, so you'll need the key. Old Thekla only gives it to those she deems worthy of the lady's presence.
Gates locked. Why?
Good grief! Worse than children, these two. During each Sabbath, the crones demand to meet 3 beautiful youngsters. Old Thekla picks them and gives them the key to the gate.
She's young and beautiful.
But he's sure not.
Let us worry about Thekla.
Don't lie to her. She'll sniff it out at once. If she refuses to help, you must tell her you wish to undergo the trial.
The trial?
Thekla will explain.
Can I just kill her and take the key? Or go over the gate?
We're looking for an elf named Imlerith. Ciri thinks the crones might have invited him.
The big knight. He near trampled me.
On his way up the mountain?
Yeah. What's it you want from him?
He killed my friend.
Out for vengeance, eh? Oh, let it go. Dying foolishly won't help. Even the crones bow and scrape before that one.
Thanks for the advice. We should go.
Good luck.
Visit us sometime. We've a place not far from here.
We'll be certain to stop by. So long.
I'd never seen this outcome either, Kay. That's actually the specific reason I did it.
And the sea's sapphire blue.
Hey, Thekla. Let me in or die. I'll give you money.
But we...
Ye shan't meet the ladies.
It's clearing up.
Who's that? Well, come on, come closer, girl. Aye. What's she like?
Narrow hips, sparkly eyes, a striking feisty lass.
Never had a man. Never mind. Got me answer.
Gross.
I choose you, girl. This night you shall see the ladies.
Ciri?
Wonderful. Who wouldn't want to meet the ladies? My companion comes with me.
What else has the cat dragged in?
It's grey and veiny, got a scar, and eyes like a viper.
Aye. Stinks of clotted blood and corpses. Plus it's old and infertile. I reject ye, freak. The girl will ascend alone.
What's this about? What have you chosen her for?
Tell him.
Each year, 3 chosen of the honor to meet the ladies.
What happens after they've had this honor?
When they return, they speak of the past no more. Joy rules them and they start life anew. The lads were not the first to be chosen this day, but the moon hangs high, so she's like to be the last.
Right. The honor of having their brains scooped out and reprogrammed.
You misjudged me. I'm worthy as anyone.
Girl?
He's sprier than any youth. Only smells like corpses because he kills monsters. And he'll kill any who stand in his way.
Perhaps I was mistaken. Perhaps there's life in him yet. By ancient right you may appeal my choice. But to do so you must best the challenge.
Why did you remind me of decraniation, Huthor?
I accept the challenge.
Come.
Okay.
Look this over. A coin from days of yore. Falker burns on its reverse, so they call it the Defier's Oran. Now, bring me the coin.
Okay. Oh no, it's a drowner. Hang on, let me make sure. God dang it. Why is my stuff not equipped? Sure, Huthor. Word of warning, don't click the link Huthor's about to click. Or link. It's pretty horrible. Hello? Anyone there? Like a fiend? Jesus. Stupid fiends. I'd say I'm surprised you like the Witcher series, Kay, but then I remember your thoughts on Dark Souls, and I changed my mind.
I was beginning to worry. Come, let's get the key.
Something's afoot. Something's back. What do you want?
I got your key.
Got that coin you tossed in the lake.
It reeks of sludge.
Nothing I can do about that. So, gonna keep your word?
I always do, my boy. Show the coin to the gatekeeper past the threshold. He'll know its meaning. Marika will open the gate for ye. Now go.
Okay.
Went smoothly.
Weren't the one to do the diving in that cave.
Stop whining. You're a witcher. You've dived in murkier waters.
Yeah, have to tell you about the time I hunted a Zugel.
And let them lars till the crack of dawn.
Oh, jeez, I can only walk. I'm stuck walking. Stuck walking.
Something's afoot. Something's not.
There we go. I'm free. God, that was irritating. Path. Path? Is this a path up? It's kind of hard to tell. This looks up-y. Why is that? Whatever. Whatever. Up we go. I like to think that we kill the last crone off camera, okay? You know, for fun.
What's your name, girl?
What's yours?
Your name don't matter. Atop the peak, you'll lose it and get another. You may go. And you?
I passed the trial. Here's proof. Recognize it?
The Defiers, Oren. A death sentence.
Okay. Goodbye. I want to do that so badly to Imlerith, by the way.
We've no time to lose. I'll tend to Imlerith, you take the crones. Avalark said they dwell below the oak, among its roots.
No chance. I'm going after Imlerith.
Fine, let's play for it. Rock, paper, scissors. Damn it! 2 out of 3!
Out of the question. I'll climb the mountain, you face the crones.
Hardly a challenge.
They're extremely dangerous. Be careful.
You too.
I love that. She thinks the crones are the easier fight. What do you guys think? I mean, Imlerith is a beast, but, I mean, the crones?
I must get down there.
I must play as Ciri. I don't know, by the way, Gum Gum. Sorry. You asked a question earlier, and I processed it for a bit, but I don't actually know the answer. I know that about 70 or so fathoms is a bad thing, but that's all I know, and that's only, like, anecdotal. Oh yeah, gross alert. Sorry. Gross alert. Ugh, I hate the crones so much.
How was he? He lived a life of love and knew no bitterness. Yum, yum.
This is just gross, hazardous.
Welcome, child of the elder blood. We knew you would return. Your taste lingers on our tongues.
You've talked enough.
You die tonight.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold back at all, by the way. I'm just going to kill the crap out of them. If that's okay with you guys.
Punished. She must be punished. Your blood. So hot.
I also like how Ciri doesn't even begin to engage them in conversation. She's just like, yeah, no.
You'll regret that. You die tonight.
Come here.
Funny, that's exactly what I would have done, Puzzle Fury. So there's the survivor that we kill off camera in headcanon.
Damn it.
Meanwhile,
Imlerith's at the summit. Gotta be.
So, I wish Uthor was here for this, so he could disagree with me. I've said before that I don't actually like that Eredin basically has no characterization. I would argue that Imlerith actually has a surprising amount of characterization, despite his relatively brief screen time. And it's almost entirely about the animation. There's a term for that, and I can't think of it, but it's when someone is characterized by how they move rather than anything else. Imlerith, probably one of the better examples of this was actually earlier, when the gate came down and he was just... There's just this, bam! He just wanted to get through it. And everything about the way he fought Vesemir gets across the same idea. And the fact that despite being under orders from his king to not kill Vesemir and just to threaten him, he reacted basically out of like, yeah, exactly. He comes across as very much a barbarian beast kind of a thing. And I mean that in the classic Conan kind of a way. You know, I almost want to use the word gluttonous, but it's not quite the word for what I'm thinking of. But everything he does gets across someone who basically just has no control at all. Who is purely impulsive, purely wild. Hedonistic, that's a good word. Hedonistic. And he does that in terms of how he fights and in the scene we're about to see. So I think it's good stuff, basically. I agree, by the way. Caranthir also has characterization in how much colder and precise he is. We saw that in his fight with Escort, among a couple other things. And yeah, we're going to see... Am I equipped? Yeah, we're good. We're going to see exactly how Imlerith is continued to be characterized in just a second here. Yes, hazardous. Yes, exactly.
Medallion's humming. Place of power. It's gotta be.
So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 succubi. Excess. And he look at the way he's just he is literally doing the Conan slouch. There's a term for that animation. A lot of people do that particular sit on throne animation. Helps that he's a beast. He's big.
The sisters said you would come. They saw you arrive in the water's surface. They did not see the girl. But she is with you, is she not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're both here.
Where is the girl?
Doesn't matter. You'll never get her.
You fought bravely on the road to the bitter end.
I trust this time will be no different.
Oh yeah, even the style of weaponry he uses. A giant freaking war maul and a tower shield. Think about what it would take just to wield that mace. Like, I know we had a whole discussion yesterday about the weight of iron, but that cannot be an easy thing to wield, especially given the weight at the end. Look at that. So let's see if we can counter him at all. Nope. Can't counter, can't parry, which makes sense. You should be able to parry something with that weight. And I'm just kind of showing off a few of his attacks here. He's got his standard attacks. He's got it. So here, watch this. I'm going to get behind him again. I'm going to hit him a couple times, and he's going to do this swing behind him thing. First with his shield, then with his mace. So he actually has the ability to pull out of being combo locked. And then he drops his shield and starts doing this.
Damn.
And hitting much harder. Two-handed swing rather than one-handed swing. A lot more power behind it.
Who taught you to fight like this?
The Witcher you slew.
Fun way to kill a guy. But what's a funner way to kill a guy is what we're about to do. wonder how much that thing weighs. Hi. Oh, I saw his smile.
We did it.
Barely. How'd it go down there?
I slew only 2 of the crones. The third fled with Vesemir's medallion. My sole memento.
Coming here? Good idea.
I knew we'd succeed. From the start. Now to find Eredin and kill him. Honorin, for your thoughts?
Wondering what to tell Yennefer when we get to Novigrad.
Tell her the truth. Always. I wonder if Triss and Yennefer have found the sorceresses at the lodge. We ought to rejoin them.
I'm gonna wait on answering this because I'm curious too, Kay. What can you do with the acorn? Like, what's the point of it? Why would I eat anything from the crones? Ah, you get a skill point. Alright. Giving it to the villagers isn't a bad idea.
Give me a minute. I'm old. Need more rest.
You are, and you do.
Thanks.
Let's stay a bit longer.
Let's see. Where the hell am I? Where'd they put me?
So, off to
hang on. Sorry. Sorry. Game thingy. There's the acorn. Okay. Sorry, Ciri. Dealing with the game. You know how it is. Game? What game? Don't stress it, Ciri. Uh-oh. Oh god. Oh god. No! Come on. Well, we're in hell. I mean... Hey, we can loot the crows. I don't think I've ever done that. Well, how do we get out of here? Can we get out of here? There we go, this way, this way. No, we can always teleport out with her. Or talk to her, don't forget. Oh no, I like barbarian elves too. You should hear how some of my players responded to Fat Elf once. They don't remember anything else about that character. Not the backstory I built for him, not the woman that he was close to, not the fact that he was connected to 2 of the criminal elements within Holtberg. No, no, no. All they cared about was the fact that he was fat. I don't blame them. It's so rare you see elves that aren't elves.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
It's like that elf right there that we just heard donate. There we go. Okay. Hey, people.
If only they'd come down to us. If only they'd come down to us.
Who do I give it to? Going up the... Okay, I can go up the path. That's okay, I know where the path is. I'll just come at it from the opposite direction! Like you do. Like a true speedrunner, I try to trigger events from the reverse. Ah, crap. Well, they don't really need the acorn anyways, right? Like, there's no real need for it. Like, they need to learn to be independent and live without the influence of the, of the crones and the outside things. And anyways, thank you very much, Vigilant. I wasn't even going to comment on the Bald Mountain thing for that. I mean, I don't like Fantasia. I'm one of those weirdos who doesn't care for it at all. It's just a drug simulator with good music. Especially that section. My god. No, we never kill the last crown. On camera. Obviously, we do it off camera. You know what? I don't even care. I've decided that we did it despite bugginess. Hey, Ciri, let's go.
So, off to Novigrad then?
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, let's get going.
Let's go.
The oak is dead.
Yeah.
The crones. I fear that was your last feast.
What of our acorns?
Well, see, the funny thing is, how, Permeus, how? Everything I know and seen in this game, including what other people in chat have said, is that you can only kill the last crone when you get the bad ending. In Vengeance, that's the worst ending. Now, what's funny is I was already kind of thinking about not giving them the acorn, because they really do need to learn to live without it. I mean, this was parasitism, or whatever the proper terminology is for that. I think it's worse than the Empire ending, Huthor. Because at least the Empire ending will, you know, have some good happening as a consequence of it. That's true. Weaning them off. You know, I actually talked about this earlier. You don't go cold turkey, right? You wean them off of it. So, sure. This will help wean them off of it.
I've got one. Take it.
But one? What'll we do now?
This is no longer no man's land. It's no longer the lady's land. It's all yours.
But what are we to do?
Come, Geralt. It's time.
Manage. On your own.
Or die trying. Actually, I think that too, Kamek. You'll have to ask Huthor that, Magister. I don't have a problem with the Empire ending. With the Empress ending. Farmin? What's Farmin? So that's the conclusion of Velen. Now let's conclude Novigrad. Oh my god, it's Triss.
Thought it was mages the hunters and the temple guard were after.
Mages left. Hunters needed a new quarry. Hatred and prejudice will never be eradicated.
What?
Will never be about witches. To have a scapegoat. That's the key. Humans always fear the alien, the odd. Once the mages had left Novigrad, folk turned their anger against the other races. And as they have for ages, branded their neighbors their greatest foes.
I did, Duncan, yes.
Dundee Lion! Ready some tankards! With guests!
Geralt! Ciri! When I learned Geralt had found you...
Glad to see you in one piece too, Dandelion.
Where have you two been?
Just finished hunting down the crones of Velen and a general of the Wild Hunt.
Well, you've had a busy morning then, haven't you?
In fact, you look terrible. Like you could really use some rest.
Gladly take some. Point me to a room.
Of course. Come on, little swallow. I'll take you.
Let's meet later, Geralt. I've a little matter to resolve. I'll freshen up, then await you in the square in Gildorf.
Right. Anyone here besides us? Lodge of Sorceresses. Triss and Yen were supposed to gather the remnants.
They're working on it. Triss is upstairs, waiting for you. Yennefer's gone to crippled Kate's.
Yen? At that portside dive? Why?
Didn't inform me. Imagine that. Ah, and that elf of yours moved into the Ruby Suite. Told me to tell you he's waiting too.
Gave him your best room?
He didn't exactly ask. I prepared another room for him, but he blew past me and locked himself in the Ruby. Hasn't peeked out since. Barely eats, drinks only water, and the only thing I've heard from him is, I wish to know when Windblade and Zuriel arrive.
Thanks. Looks like I'll have my hands full.
Elves, am I right? Ah, well.